There was no sound there. What a great intro. Let's hope that I am live now. Uh, we will double check this on my phone. I know that you can definitely hear me now, but I don't know if you can see me just yet. You can't see me. Well, you're not supposed to. It says it will begin soon. But if I hit the right button, which I think I did, I just verified on my phone. I'm terrible at live streaming, guys. I'm sorry. I do have a window open here, so I can see if you ask any questions. Now, I'm excited because I've been talking about for a long time, wanting to jump in on the new Deity microphones that come out, the new Deity Lavs. Now, I have been talking about it for a while and excited about it if you've been on like Discord or caught me on other live streams, but I have not actually gone over their new product line. There is obviously, if you're familiar with their line, there is the Connect system, and that has come with the Connect Lavalier microphone in the past. But now there's additional options. There is the W.Lav Pro. I'm sorry, this is the W.Lav. This is the W.Lav Pro, and this is the W.Lav Micro. So there are 3 new lavs from Deity that we're going to be going over and talking about. But not only that, this is the Connect system with the HDTX, transmitter / recorder. This is going to be fun. So we have quite a bit of stuff to do. I'm going to start off with the, well, why don't we just start off by opening up this? Sorry, my sound is going completely to garbage. I promise I'll try to be more organized. And I haven't, this is not an unboxing thing. I don't do those things. But what I am going to do is open this up. And if you're wondering about the scissors, yes, they are childproof because I'm a dad. They're not dad-proof. If they were, I wouldn't get into most things here in this house. What kind of pop filter should I get for a Blue Yeti? A Blue Baby Bottle SL. Do you need one? I recently did a video called, I did a video a while back called, what is it? How to find your perfect voiceover microphone position. You don't really need them. And I did a video like a couple months ago about speaking off access, or about, what was it, 3 weeks ago, something like that, about speaking off access into a microphone. If you do your technique right, you don't need a pop filter at all. If you really want one, the Stedman Pro is a great one that you could definitely, jump on. It's a great one. A lot of people swear by them, but in all honesty, if you're trying to stay relatively budget-minded, just grab any of the ones off of Amazon and they will at least do the job. The Stedman is usually a favorite for a lot of people, though, because instead of just blocking all the air, what it does is it has little ports in there that as you talk into it, it redirects the air downwards, or depending on the way that you have it connected up, it will direct it upwards or to the side, depending on how the orientation is. But it directs it away from the microphone, and that's usually appealing because you can easily talk into it and your voice will travel through it. It's more transparent than some others. Anyway, so here we go. It says Connect Interview Kit. I was wondering if I should get the Rycote USM pop filter because I use the Rycote USM shock mount. Well, yes. If you want to get a shock mount or a pop filter, that's I have the shock mount and the pop filter. I have a video called the review of the USM. So if you look under my reviews, you'll see it. And I think the USM is pretty bulletproof. It's a very, very, I mean, I've even used it for shotgun microphones like, the Deity S-Mic 2. I used it for the, I think way back in the day, I used it for the DPA 4017B for a video. I mean, it's extremely versatile, and you can put, larger mics into it too. But there you go, Larry's YouTube channel. Okay, so trying to get into this box. I don't want to like open it and fling it across the room. This is why I don't do unboxings. Okay, here we go. Because I suck at opening the boxes. All right, so here we go. Here we are. This is a first look. This is the HD TX. Now, first of all, I will point out that this is different. This looks totally different. And on the actual Connect system, the foam is not nearly as strong. So this is a better presentation straight off the get-go. It feels much better. I don't remember the cables being wrapped up before, but let's just dive in here and see what we have. Let me ask you first. I want to actually check something, because I don't want to have to reroute all the stuff if I don't have to. I want to test out a cable and see if I'm using the MixPre 6 as an audio live stream interface tonight. And I want to see if you can hear me. So do me a favor. Yes, it was dad approved. So if I were to speak into this, I'm going to bring down my regular mic, and I want you to tell me if you can hear me out of this Deity S Mic 2S. So I'm bringing up the second mic right now and about to drop off the other one. Do you hear me right now? Because if you do, then I am a happy camper, because I can easily take the Deity Connect HD TX interview kit. I've already forgotten the name. This is why I do my videos not live. I'm not a live guy. I used to do TV, and that was sometimes live, but I'm not great in front of the camera live. So if you can hear the Deity S Mic 2S right here, please tell me in the comments. You can hear me. Okay, great. Okay, so that means it's going to make it a lot easier to do the comparison. So I'm going to go back to the T-Bone there, which, yes, I'm still using the T-Bone. Mainly, I like the fact that it's small. It's low profile. It can usually fit in angles and stay out of my way when I'm doing, yeah, volume dropped a little bit. I should probably bring it up. I'll make sure that the level's good and solid. I'm using, because I'm live streaming right now, I'm using my DBX 286S, and I use a lot of compression on it. I know the rules of how to play proper sound. I just don't do it. It's so often I don't do what I should be doing, and that is, you know, concentrating on getting great sound. I compress the crap out of it, which is not the best thing to do, but I do. Let's check and see how we're doing here. Is my framing okay? That's what I thought. A little bit off, a little bit more nose room, as they say in live television. Okay, more nose room right there. Okay, so we are going to tackle this. I feel like getting my keyboard out of the way after I slam everything in my way, though, which I should apologize for. Okay. Like I said, I'm terrible at live streaming. Okay, so I was about to cover up the microphone with this, which I'm sure many of you guys would appreciate, because you're not going to have to see me. You can just hear me. Okay, so this looks the same that we are familiar with, the Deity Duo RX, which is the dual receiver unit. And I am getting out the antennas for that. One thing about the firmer foam in here, it makes it a little bit more difficult to get out for people that are, you know, like me. Not necessarily the very best at doing that kind of thing. Okay, so let's see. Volume dropped a bit. Yeah, okay. Stellar presence, my friend. Ah, thank you. All right, need a co-host? Come right over. Yeah, you know what? You probably should. Eldest, I could definitely use you. You're experienced in this realm. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and connect this up, and we are going to hear. We're going to go ahead and start off with the Deity Duo RX. Trying to remember, was on, and if anybody has the Deity Connect right now, tell me if it was A on the left and B on the right on the output before, or if it was always B on the left and A on the right. I can't recall. And I'm really glad, I should add, that Deity sent, I knew that they were sending me something. I didn't know exactly what it was. I did not expect another Connect system. So that was extremely awesome, because I ended up over the Christmas holiday, one of my friends was doing a shoot that was helping out one of his friends, and he said, can I borrow the Connect? I'd like to check it out. I said, sure. And I loaned it to him, and he still has it. So I could easily call him and say, dude, I need it back. But now I don't have to. he can keep it and he can continue to have fun and test things with it. Okay, so DuoRx is getting connected up right now. Connected. See what I did there? And plugging up the cable. All right. Here we go. So let me bring this up. I've now covered up part of my screen. So I need to bring up my chat window so I can actually read what people are writing. Sorry, again, suck at live streaming. I have done live streams in the past where I've called it I suck at live streaming. Okay, there we go. Bring it up a little bit. All right, I can now see over it. Okay, it says be there in 27 hours. All right, sounds good. I'll see you then, eldest. All right, so we're going to start off here, and why don't we go ahead and just dive right on in to the HD-TX, and we're going to go ahead and use the S-Mic 2S, because why not? It's awesome, it's the right size, and it's right here. Okay, well that's good, has a good solid lock on it, and let's see. And we're just figuring this out. I mean, I have not pre-done any of this. Okay, tightens nicely in place. So I'm going to go the other way and see if I go all the way the other way, it comes right out. Okay, so that seems pretty good. So the way it basically works is you plug in the microphone, you spin this around, and I guess that's what tightens it because of the little lock on the mechanism. Just because it may not be obvious to you on camera, there is on an XLR connector right here, there's a little lock. And as I start to screw this up, which I've been doing a lot of screwing up on this live stream so far, as I start to screw this vertical upwards, it starts to come out. So it is stopping. It would be locking around the microphone. So if I put this on there, all the way down, and then I bring this up. So that makes pretty solid sense there. So this is now locked onto my microphone. I don't want to break it already, but it's not coming undone, which it was very easily before it was coming out. So right here, it has a pair light. It has, I guess this is for monitoring purposes, if you were to want to check your recording. Again, I haven't looked at the manual or anything like that. I'm just diving in and we're going to figure this thing out together. And if you have any thoughts on what it could be, how's the self noise on the Connect system? Haven't heard it yet. We will check it out together here in a second, and I will plug up and we will see. Okay. So why don't we go ahead and power this on? This looks a little different from the other Connect. It may not be, but it looks a little bit different. It could just be me being completely crazy. All right, let's see what this HD-TX is. Power is right there. Now, because Zaxcom has patents on transmitting and recording at the same time, you can't do that with the HD-TX in America. I believe there's a firmware that you can get if you're outside of America that allows you to do both the same thing, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll have to verify that before my review. But I know Zaxcom has transmitter and recorder patents currently, and they're defending them against the world because everybody wants to be able to do that, but it's a Zaxcom patented idea. So they are not able to do that. But right now, I'm not trying to do that. We're going to be testing the Connect here. Now, all right, you see how the screen locked? What I'm going to do is I'm going to press and hold that. So look at this. It says press and hold to unlock it. So the very first thing I'm going to do is it actually tells you that now, which is awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my settings here, and I'm going to turn it to never power off. Okay, so it's set to RF power at 100 milliwatts. I don't think it needs to be that crazy right now, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it there by default. Low latency, that's fine. Why am I not seeing it? Output level. What am I missing? Oh, it should be right here. It's auto lock screen. It's on the screen right in front of me. If only I read the screens. Never. Okay, so that is now set up, and we'll do the exact same thing for the TXA. Actually, TXB is the one that's connected up right now. So we'll set it to not sleep. No, not sleep. The fade, the lock mode. Maybe it's something I can't do from here. All right, well, what I'll do is I'll power this on over here, and I'll have to verify my output setting here in a second. But press up and down, and it unlocks. Okay, so menu, same as before. And we're going to go down to, what is it called? Firmware update, lock, auto lock. There it is. So we're going to select, and we're going to go all the way down to never. I guess it's all the way up to never. Say select. Okay. So we're going to go back right there, and I'm not seeing any level out of it. Watching from the shadows. That's good. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hold on a second now. Deity is here in the house. So, for some reason, you know what? I'm going to, for this live stream, since I see Deity's in here, I'm going to add them as a moderator so they can actually post links and do that kind of stuff. So, sorry that it retracted your message there in chat. Put user in timeout. That should be funny. Hide user on channel. That should be even funnier. Okay, so, all right, so Andrew from Deity is here. So if you have any questions as we go through here, we should be able to figure this out together. But right now it says it is paired, and I am not seeing any VU meter lights. So chances are my level is not set right. TRS, because it is definitely connected. I'm hearing some, what sounds like RF. Wait a minute. I'm not even listening to this. Hold on one second. I'm going to actually plug up my headphones directly to this and see if I'm monitoring it right now. So I am no longer listening to my own voice. But, okay. Let me go into settings here, and I'm going to change this to, where is my mic level? Okay, plus 24 dB. I'm assuming that that means I need to go up a little bit because, okay, there it is. VU meter is now moving. So if I go up to 36, what would that be? Okay, let's go ahead and select that right there. Okay, and it says volume 0 dB. I'm going to go up so that way I can monitor my own volume level, but I'm not hearing anything out of it. So I must be doing something wrong because I'm not hearing my volume level right here. Andrew, please help if you know what I'm doing wrong. Uh-oh, wait a minute. It sounds like I'm hearing something. Maybe I'm not. I'm up at positive 24 dB and nothing is coming through. So I'm going to go all the way back down there because I'm obviously doing something wrong. And I will drop back to the very, very beginning. So if I am able to plug up and hear myself through the Connect system, which I should just do right here on the output to verify that it's working before I connect this up. Your headphones are plugged into the mic jack. That's a mic jack. You mean to tell me that the thing that has the headphones on it on the side, that's where I should plug in my headphones? That's crazy. Why would Deity do that? Okay, I'll play by the rules. Okay. Sounds like there is no phantom power going through it to it right now. So let me go in here and see if there's a phantom power mode. Because I'm hearing only a buzz. I'm hearing only like a... input type, TRS. There you go. Let's not do that. Let's go to XLR, say select, and we'll go 48 volts phantom on. Hey now, that suddenly got a lot better sounding. Jeez, it's also loud. Okay. Mic level, volume. Let's try to go down a little bit on this volume. Oh, that sounds so much better. Okay, now, oh yeah, this is going to sound good. Okay, so this is connected directly up. This sounds good coming through here. Okay, so right now, you can't hear this. I should actually connect this up so you can. Unplugging from here, plugging back into my regular Deity. That's not a Deity system. That is a Mix Pre 6. Deity has not yet made an interface or a recorder or a combination of the two. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge there. Deity, get on it. Okay, so all right, I'm going to go ahead and back out of this. Hopefully you can see everything. And my VU meters are popping. They look like they're kind of high. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the limiter just to make sure that it is on, because until we dial in exactly on our levels, I want to make sure that I'm not blasting everyone's eardrums out. Okay, it looks like my meters should be okay, and now they look like they're maxing out. So I should drop the level ever so slightly. But you know, this is one of the cool things about the Deity Connect system. I can not look at, have to do this, where set my level. How is that coming through? I can actually look at the receiver over here, and I will dial in on the TXB, which is right there. And you see I have RX. I don't know if you can see it from where you are. RX, TX, and TXB. I'm going to go to TXB because that's what this one is. Hit select, and I'm going to change my input mic level. I'm going to drop it down to, let's say, 30 dB, and then go back to the beginning and see if I am peaking. I'm still a little bit on the hot side, so I'm going to drop it down a little bit more. I am speaking into it kind of loud, I guess. So I'm going to go in again, same thing again, and drop it down a little bit more. Okay, so even Alan, who doesn't like to read manuals and stuff, is figuring this out fairly quickly, which is awesome. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and listen to this through the Deity Duo RX. So I'm going to bring down this microphone and bring up the other one. I'm going to bring this back up just a little bit. My output level is not set right. I'm not seeing the meters move on channel 2 at all. So let me make sure my gain is set right. This is the wireless. Okay, because I'm recording, it's not going to let me change my input. Okay, I'm recording the audio on the side in case I need to do anything with this. Set the Duo RX to negative 9 dB. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Scroll it up here. Duo RX to negative 9 output level. Let's hit that. It is set to negative 9 dB. No sound. So what I'm going to do, because I'm recording, plus 24 on the XLR input. You know what? We'll go with your settings then, Andrew. I would assume that since you have more knowledge about this product than anyone else, mic level is now 24 dB. I should definitely listen to you on this stream. So we're going to go ahead and do that. My mix pre 6. All right, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll adjust the levels on the fly. I'll stop recording it for a second. Go into the level. Okay, should be fine. So what I'll do is I will go ahead and verify that it is working. I will kill this for a second, and let's change the input from mic to line. And let's see what my gain is set to. Gain is set to 20 dB. All right. What am I doing wrong here? Output level is going out of A. That's why. Okay, 1 second. We're gonna get this. My it's going out output A, and that means that the settings probably set to, let's see, RX select. Out type is set to mono. Let's just double check it. And let's set it to stereo out right there. Yeah, it's channel B, so it should be XLR out B. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, so yeah. All right, so that's what I do need to do. So it's just confirmed. Because I'm in B, I need to go out B, which makes total sense. That confirms what I was thinking already, and so we're going to go ahead and do that. Now, that latency that you were hearing, or rather the Deity Connect has a built-in latency for helping to repair the sound as you are recording, or as you're recording somebody who's out on a lav. So right now I am bringing down my levels, and hopefully this is sounding decent. Tell me, it sounds like it's coming through kind of hot. I'm going to adjust my gain and bring it down because it sounds like it's distorting ever so slightly in my ears. So tell me how this is sounding to you over there. I can't see my meters on the MixPre 6 right now. How is this sounding right there? I find that using my MixPre 6 with my Fed head is the best combination. See, I don't actually have any issues with the preamps on the MixPre 6. I think they're extremely clean. I don't think that you need to add something like a Fed head, Cloud Lifter, SE Electronics Dynamites, any of that kind of stuff to the signal because the MixPre preamps are solid. Okay, let me back off here. Sound like I was at Best Buy. Funny. Just a little bit too quiet. So is this too quiet? Yeah, it is a bit clipping right now. That's probably because I'm way too close on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down my level a little bit on this microphone because I definitely see it is hot. And because I'm holding this up, I can't see my... Let's try doing what I was doing before. That was probably working pretty well. So I know it's coming through a bit distorted. Yeah, and sorry about that. That's not the product. That's me trying to figure out what the right settings are. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down my level just a little bit because I know I am close micing it a bit. And because of that, I'll drop down to +6. I know that was a big, tremendous drop. So let me bring it up over here and we'll see how it goes through. How is this sounding right now? It's still low. Let me bring it up a little bit more in the gain on the MixPre 6. I'll get the right buttons here. All right, so how's it sounding now? Sounds to me a lot better. In my ears, at least. You tell me, what is this? What do you think? To me, that sounds a lot better. And my level is, it's a much more healthy looking level on the Connect. So I tell you what, one of the things I'm going to do also is I have the fans running on my computer. Normally I kill those before I live stream, but for some reason I didn't tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and kill those right now. And once we do, yeah, it sounds much better to me. And I'll tell you this also. Well, actually, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to jinx it just yet. So we're not going to. I am going to turn these fans all the way down. Sorry about the clicking and the noise in the background here. But we're going to get down to the bottom of this and listen to it. How are the levels on the... Okay. Do I need to bring up the level of the stream any, or is it just fine the way it is? Because my levels are right now peaking a little bit on the low side, it looks like. How is this? Is this coming through better? Because if it is, it sounds better in my ears. All right. Sounds better. Maybe a touch more gain, but good. Okay. Let's try this. I'm very, very close miking, so I don't need to speak overly loud. And it sounds to me like this should be a pretty good setup right here. You tell me, what do you think? I think I did this setting on YouTube that's higher. It's higher latency, but it's supposed to deliver a better stream. Okay, good. The answers are starting to come in. Yes, better. Yes. Okay, good. So basically, if it sounds good in my ears, it's probably going to sound good over the stream too. All right, let's run with these settings right now. Well, let me turn up my volume ever so slightly. And I have a technical question for you, Alan. I want to connect up an XY stereo mic 3.5 jack, headphone jack to my MixPre. Do you think I'm going to have any issues? Yes. Well, first of all, an XY stereo mic is most likely going to be a condenser. So unless it's a powered microphone, you're not going to be able to supply phantom power to it at all. You're going to have an external power supply and in order to power it. So you're going to have to run through a Deity box or something like an MM1 or something like that in order to supply phantom power to that microphone. 15 to 20 a delay. 15 to 20 second delay. Okay. Well, I guess I can manage that, hopefully. I mean, I could change it on the fly. I don't know what that would do, if it lets me even do that. Live stream. Can I change my delay live? We will see. Stream latency is locked. Sorry, guys. I mean, I could cancel the stream and then redo it, but let's not do that. Okay, so right now, my first impressions of the sound quality. I'm boosting it up quite a bit and listening to it pretty loud in my ears. I'm listening to the self noise right now. I'm very, very loud in my headphones right now. That might be worse. I'll back it off just a little bit and we'll see what happens. Because I know it is live streaming, so I know that the delay is going to go through a little bit. Let's see. Let's hope that that goes through and that's happy right around there. Okay. So it sounds to me like the self noise, since it was asked, is about the same as it is normally on the Connect. I mean, I don't have a reference for it right now. It sounds just like, I think the self noise that you hear on the Connect system is more related to the Duo RX than it is the transmitters. I could be mistaken about that. Andrew has retracted another message. So that's the last time we saw him in here. Okay. The sound quality here, in my ears at least, coming through, it is wireless. I mean, it is hopping over here. But I tell you, you know what I don't need to do is I don't need to be broadcasting at 100 milliwatts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and we're going to just change the power on the fly. We're going to drop it down to 100. No, let's drop it all the way down to 10 milliwatts, because I think if the Connect somehow is not able to transmit from here to here, there's an issue. I mean, I know it can. Sorry for all that clicking. Jeez, point blank touching the microphone. He may have disappeared. He may have disappeared. We don't know. It might be more. Okay, so my level seems pretty good right now. Andrew is always watching. Let's hope not. Because he doesn't need to watch me make videos. If you ever watch my video that's called, what is that thing called? The Look of Sound Speeds with Outtakes, I believe is what it's called. You get to see how terrible I really am on camera. I mean, you're watching it now. But when I'm making a video, I try to make sure that all my words are streamlined. I've already kind of rehearsed it in my mind and know what I should be doing and how I should be saying it. And it's really funny because I am terrible on camera. I'll say something, I'll stutter over one word, and instantly I'll say, got to do it again. And I get myself so frustrated that half the time I end up just cussing like a sailor and hope to God that my children are asleep. That's one of the reasons why I record in the middle of the night. Because if I don't, they're going to be learning a lot of words. Let the truth be known, they're kids. They probably have heard them all, but still, let's not go there. You know what? I like the sound. I think it sounds very good, at least, with this S-Mic 2S. I've been listening to it for a while. I think it sounds really solid. It sounds really good in my ears. And I'm going to go back and listen to the recording here because I am recording this. And I think it sounds really good. I don't have any complaints about it right now. The self noise is a property. I believe Andrew told me at one point that it's a property of the Deity Duo RX. Now, if you have not done a firmware update since you originally got the Duo RX on the original Connect system, then you do need to do that update because one of the firmware updates did add a DSP that lowered it a bit. And so I'm going to check and see what this is right now. RF power. Wait a minute. I thought I changed that. RF power on the RX. Okay, so I should change that too. Is there an auto setting? Because if so, I should just go to auto. All right, there's not, so I'm going to just go. Now, I don't remember 1.34. I don't remember RF power on this before, on the Deity Connect. I could be totally off on that. But it's awesome. Uh-oh, please insert VDisk. What am I trying to do here? I should not be updating it. That's the wrong button. Keep me away from this stuff. I do like the way this sounds right now. The self noise, since it's been mentioned, I think it's still the same as it was before. I don't think it's anything that even like the Waves NS1 plugin. I've been talking to a guy who's listens on my channel and watches my videos. He usually comments on something. His name is Nick. He is really active about testing out his Connect system, and so I'm sure he's definitely going to want to watch this video later. But he is very active in testing his Connect, and he'll do a test with certain firmwares, and he'll respond to me and tell me, I found some really awesome settings you should be checking out, and I found that this works really great and this works really great, and he's just awesome. And so Nick is he's someone that I'm sure he would know so much more about the Connect system and what the current settings are. And he was the guy that turned me on to the NS1 playlist and Waves, actually. And I've been terrible because I reached out to Waves. I talked to them. He basically said he would send me like a 90-day license to any plugin I wanted to play with or test or review or whatever. I just have not done it. I've also got I'm part of their affiliate program, and if I listed links to their stuff or I could probably be earning clicks, or I'm terrible at that stuff. I'm not good at making money on YouTube. As you notice, I'm also not good at asking for subscribers, likes, shares, all that kind of stuff, donations, everything that people normally ask for. I don't. I figured that if you like my content, you'll do that stuff anyway. So that's basically why I just leave all that stuff alone. So anyway, I've been talking into this for a while, so you've gotten an idea of the way that the S-Mic 2S sounds with the HD-TX. And personally, I think it sounds pretty good. I don't think that you really need to do any post-processing to try to change the way a microphone sounds. I think that a microphone should sound good out of the microphone itself, and the S-Mic 2S does. It has a really good quality to it. I really like the way that it sounds. The Deity microphones sound very natural, and I do really like natural sounding microphones. I even said it in my review of the S-Mic 2S that I wish it had more off-axis rejection. I don't measure those. What I do is I go out and go into real world scenarios and let you hear the way those microphones sound in the real world. It's easy to measure, but in all honesty, I find that you need to listen to something to determine what you think of it. And I mean, I'm not going to, just poo-poo people that measure stuff, because there's a lot of validation in that. But to me, I always find that it's more important to ignore a lot of the specs and use those as guidelines, because here's the thing, and I'm about to get into one of my rants. Sorry, guys. If you look at the specifications, those are all done based on like the microphone that is the master, I guess you could almost say, what they want all the microphones to be like. And it can fluctuate. The specifications can fluctuate plus or minus a couple of dB, sometimes even more. So if you have what looks like a relatively flat, for example, Rode NT1, it's a very flat microphone. If you were to look at the specs of the original one that they tested, those look very, very flat. But if you grab one off the shelf, even though they have quality standards and everything, every microphone manufacturer, except the extremely high-end ones, they have a little bit of play in there. They're going to be plus or minus up to a couple of dB. My favorite microphone is a DPA 4017B. And if I go and grab that one and bring it over here, when you buy one, it has in the top of it the actual frequency response that it measured to at DPA before they sold it. And there is a center line, and it shows you a fluctuation of plus or minus 2 dB, and it has a drawn line on it that shows you what that microphone was actually measured as. And DPA archives that, so that way if there's ever an issue and you send it back there for service, they can look at what it was actually when it left their store or when it left their manufacturing, and they can test it back, and they can say, well, this is what it should sound like based on the capsule and everything. And they can kind of they can do the they can check it and make sure it's repaired back to factory specifications. But here's the issue that I have with microphone specifications, and I have ranted about this many times, and I'll be quick because I know Alejandro is about to freak out if I don't pull out the mics. Microphones are tested in either an anechoic chamber or a virtual anechoic chamber at a distance of 1 meter away. So if you're trying to measure the distance or the frequency response of a microphone, you see how close this one is to my mouth right now. It's going to sound different here than it would if it's 1 meter away from me. That's the problem I have, is that when they test microphones, they don't test it at the distance that you would normally be off that mic, or even give you a different range. Like some manufacturers, one of the reasons why I like the T-Bone microphones is that if you look at theirs, it shows 1 meter away, but it also shows you 1/10 of a meter away. So you can see what the proximity effect is to it. And what I really wish the Audio Engineering Society would do is standardize this, because a lot of microphone manufacturers, they do their testing differently, and you're not going to come up with the same measurements. If you watch my video, Can We Trust an Advertised Frequency Response, or the entire Ray Rayburn interview, one of the things he says is they put together a whole bunch of microphones and send it to different manufacturers in order for them to test, and then come together and tell and share their thoughts and their testing results. But the manufacturers did not share them with the Audio Engineering Society. They shared, some of them shared it with their findings and results with each other, but they did not share it with the AES. So what I think the AES needs to do is standardize it and say, this is the gold standard for microphone testing. If you do this, then you should add to this with the AES certification or whatever they put forth, and say this is the our approved way of doing it. That way manufacturers, as soon as you have 1 or 2 manufacturers that say, I'm gonna make sure that I follow the certification of the AES and follow their standard, therefore I will put in my paperwork or something that I'm following their standard. As soon as they do that, I think you'll have a lot of manufacturers jump on board, and it will be standardized, just like ASCII and ANSI and all the different things. That's the reason why if you plug in a printer into a Mac or a Dell or a Hewlett-Packard, any of those, back in the day, you could not plug in competitors' printers. They would not talk to each other until they standardized them. So that way you could very easily now plug any printer into anything, because it is standardized now through certain specifications. Okay, so rant away. Rant is done. A lot of work doing the whole marketing thing, but you have to ask. Yeah, so the moment has come. Please bring out the lavs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back up my LDC in front of me, and I'm going to get rid of that right there. So it should be hotter, because now my voice is compressed. So let's not do the Pro just yet. Yes, we should. All right, so we have the W.Lav. That's probably the one we should start at. The W.Lav Micro and the W.Lav Pro. So the first thing we should probably do, actually, is make sure that we have a working transmitter. So this is not going to be, well, you know what we could use, since we're not familiar with this, we should use this right here. We've heard the way that the BP, the body pack, because that's what this stands for. When you look at the Deity Connect Lav system, it says BPTX. That stands for body pack transmitter. And we know how these things sound. I mean, if you watch my review of the Deity Connect system, you see that I take it outside, I throw it up in the air, and then I throw it way up in the air, and it survives. Oh, they've packed in more goodies. All right, I'm not going to do an unboxing. You guys know I don't do that. But I will say that they have additional goodies in there, probably because the HDTX is so fun and it's a different design. So we're going to go ahead and stay with this, so that way I can test the microphone input right there. Uh-oh. Let's see. Frequency response nerd. Nerds sound really authoritative right now. Up when they start. Uh-huh. Because they don't like the lines of the chart. I'll go ahead and show this one. If your printer works right in the first place. All right. Well, here's the thing. All right. If you read that comment here, Enrique, frequency response nerds sound really authoritative right now, right up to when they start blinking on a mic that that sound very good because they don't like the lines on the chart. And that is true. But here's the thing. All microphones have some fluctuation. Even my DPA 4017B, it doesn't stay exactly on the flat line, even though that is the way it should sound technically. It varies just a little bit. Not even mine does not even go up to, I think, like a 0.5 of a dB up or down. I think it basically, the way that mine looks is it starts actually a little bit higher, like at 0.5 dB, and then it goes down to a center line where it's right at 0 dB for quite a while, and then it actually kind of levels itself off again, and it levels off, and then it boosts about 0.5 dB up near the end. So it's not a smiley face like you would find in a nightclub equalizer, but what it is it's got a slight boost in the low end and a slight presence boost at the top end. Okay, now but here's the thing about it. I'm not a huge fan of just looking at the frequency response. To me, there's a lot more to sound than that. And the reason why is not just because all manufacturers make different products, but because you need to listen to a microphone to know how it sounds. You really cannot look at a frequency response graph and see how a microphone sounds. I don't care who you are. It is impossible to do so. Even Neumann says it on their website, that you cannot look at any frequency response graph and see. Now, you can get an idea of the coloration of the microphone, and you get an idea of the frequencies that it picks up. I mean, that's one of the reasons you're able to see that a kick drum microphone is able to pick up those frequencies better, but you cannot tell the quality of it. You also, just if you're looking just at the frequency response and not things like polar pattern, in a video I did a long time ago, I show that the polar pattern of a microphone that I use a super cardioid and compare it to an Omni. And I say the frequency response may be the same, but one of them is a cheaper microphone. One is a more expensive microphone. And, oh, I don't want to lose these. I don't want to confuse them. I don't think I will. I should be able to figure out what's what. But you don't really want to, get into the habit of just looking at one or two specs and figuring out how it sounds. The reason why they give you multiple specs to begin with is because it takes multiple specs to make a microphone. And one of the reasons why you can't get a Neumann match pair, for example, is because they're crazy about their standards. They throw out about 4 of 5 capsules they make, as I understand it. And the reason they do that is because they want to make sure that they are all made to a certain standard, and that way that they're all going to sound about the same all the time. Okay, so let's see. Let me catch up a little bit on this commentary. I agree. There are so many more factors in the tone of a mic. It's a guideline more than a credential. Let's get too caught up in the response. Charts are missing in the big picture. Alan, you have fun with the new toys. I'm off to bed. I have to get ready to... Oh, you have a Soundcraft mixture coming in tomorrow. And you're going to go to bed right now when we're about to start testing these. Okay, that's fine. You be you, man. Thanks for coming in and playing as long as you did. I really appreciate it, Eldest. And let's see. Okay, we got some... They included some tape. I should at least show what's in here. They included some Rycote goodies, which is great. They have the soft circles, which are used when you place a lav on somebody, then you want to make sure that it doesn't move. And one of the things that you can do with the soft circle is you put this on under the clothing, or you put it on their skin or something, and then you can cover it over with something like this, an overcover. Overcovers are great. This is a Rycote overcover. And this would be used to cut down on the wind protection. So you would basically, if you are not familiar with the process, you would take, if this is for wind protection, you would take the soft circle here, put the lav mic on it. And this one has a clip on it. We don't use clips in the film industry. So, and I like the fact that you can remove these a lot easier, and it seems to grab it pretty well. Yeah, that's an improvement. off of the V.Lav, I think is the one that it doesn't come off on. Okay, so here is the clip. I've removed it. What you would do is you would put down a soft circle on the bottom, and then you would stick this over top of it. Now, this diameter seems to be a pretty snug fit. So if you were to, you would obviously, that's the way it would look right there, and then you'd want to close it around the soft circles. That way that the fur is completely covering it. Now, normally what I'll do with these is I find the direction that the fur is going down, and I would put that facing upwards. Unless it's raining. If it's raining, then I'll face it downwards. But you see how it's a lower amount of fur down here than there is up at the top? That fur up there is going to add to the wind protection. Now, I would rather that be closer to the top of the microphone. So you see how if I fluff it all up, make it all look like those treasure trolls or the troll hair or whatever, if you pointed in the upwards direction, that would be where I would want it to cover the top of the microphone, the lav mic right there. So I would put the circle up there near the top. And then when you apply this and put this on there, it would be like this. And then you close this around there. And then from here, you would stick it on something. Ryco was really good. And they sent me a whole bunch of things that I used in classes to allow people to teach. But I have not done a video on it. And I should almost do one talking about some of the techniques. But there's other videos online that you could watch about those. What tape is it? I really don't know. It is... doesn't look like any tape I recognize. Andrew is not on here anymore. Otherwise, I would ask. But, okay, it's kind of like a transport, but it's stickier. But this would be something that you would use and put around. Like, I'll use a little piece of this. And what you could do with it... If anybody here has ever come to any of my classes, you'd be laughing, because before this whole banana being taped to a wall thing ever happened, I did that in a class like 6 years ago, because I was demonstrating how you de-sticky tape when you're sticking it to a wall, how you don't want to pull the material and stuff off of the wall. Maggot cheese, you'll get sleep just fine. If you're like my sound mixer actually, get this, my sound mixer watches my videos when he wants to go to sleep. Yeah, he gets so much technical stuff. He's like, I don't care about the technical, Alan. And so he says I put him to sleep. So he always tells me that he will go to sleep if he puts one of my videos on, if he's like really wanted to go to sleep. I don't know if he's serious about that or not. But okay. So couldn't sleep and you saw that was live. Okay. Well, great. We have podcasters. Banju is here in the house. Thanks for joining us, Banju. So what I was saying here is about, I used to actually, one of the demonstrations I would do is I took 2-inch black paper tape, and I basically, well, the demonstration I did was I said, let's just say you want to stick something to a wall, like a plant microphone, but the walls are extremely delicate. I have a couple of pictures of a very delicate wall that we were told was like over 100 years. Actually, I think it was, that's a lie. I think it was 85 years old, they said, and it was like a very delicate rice paper wall. And they said it should no ASMR. No, I'm going to stand against that now. But that wall was very delicate, and I said we got to preserve that, because locations were like, we don't want to end up paying like $15,000 to repair this guy's wall. It was a very nice house we were shooting at. It was a scene with Kevin Kline and what's her name, Dakota Fanning. It was for the movie Last of Robin Hood, and it was a very, very nice house. And for whatever reason, the utility said, oh, I'll handle that. No worries. I'll do that. And he ended up completely butchering the wall. And I said, you didn't need to do that. I should have handled it. I really should have. Now I do all the plant microphones in the department. I don't, unless I have an extremely, extremely knowledgeable utility, I don't let them go anywhere near plant mics. Not because I'm some crazy elitist on set. I just want to make sure that it sounds right. And I can trust myself to deliver that. One of the other names for a boom operator is microphone placement technician. And so anyway, I was doing this demonstration in class, and I said, let's just say that you need to use gaff tape in order to hold a heavier microphone or something to a wall. Well, how do you do it if the wall is delicate? So what I showed is that if you take 2-inch paper tape and you put it on your shirt over and over again until it's almost completely de-stickied, then what you can do is stick that on a wall when the sticky is almost completely done. You have a big amount of placement on that wall, at the time because it's 2-inch paper tape. You can take a big piece of tape, and because it's de-stickied, you stick it to the wall. It doesn't really have enough section to pull itself off, but it's not going to take the wallpaper off or the paper off the wall anymore. So what you can do is once you have that black paper tape on the wall, you can stick anything to it. You can stick gaff tape, duct tape, whatever you want to that black paper tape if you need to for some reason. Like sometimes materials, whatever the microphone is that you're sticking on there, you want it to be stuck on there a certain way because of the way you're mounting it. And so you'd put gaff tape or something on top of the black paper tape. Make sure it doesn't overlap onto the wall. But if you do that, it's going to stick to the paper tape like crazy and it's not going to pull off the wall. A little tiny bit of sticky on the back of 2-inch black paper tape will stick to a wall really, really well. Like better than a command hook. Better than a command hook. It's really, really way. Cool. I didn't know you worked on that one. Yes, I did work on that one. I actually have some pictures I could show now. That's really funny. I won't tell that story. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this because I've been holding this little thing. But if this was a lav that you wanted to stick to you, with this tape, this is how I imagine that it would go. You would take the tape, wrap it around the lav, and then because this is kind of a bigger diameter lav right there, you don't want to just do this and stick it across onto a material like your shirt. You don't want to stick it straight across this way where there's a big, huge gap underneath. You see that right there? I mean, it's just spread out between 2 points. If you do that when you're sticking it down, it's not really sticking. It's not really grabbing it. So what you always want to do is wrap the tape around until it's even with the bottom curve. And if you do that, then you stick it to something, it is maximum tapeage to the material. So if I were to do this right there, I don't know if you can even see this. Let me check my live streaming thing. Okay, well, hope it is. I'll go ahead and plug this in. Okay, so here's what I will point out so far. This is a microdot connector, and it's got a little pin on the inside, and this would go to an adapter. The adapter, there's various different adapters you can get for this. This is a DA35, which is a microdot to an 1/8 inch or 3.5 millimeter. Now that looks like a shorter. Is that a shorter? Hold on a second. Looks like a shorter. Yeah, it definitely is shorter than a normal 3.5 millimeter 1/8 inch. To give you an idea, that's it. See how the Deity is a little bit shorter when you lined it up there? Now this is a locking because it has a little screw on there. So that's interesting. I wonder if that connection is going to make a difference. I'd imagine that because it screws down, then it will probably make a pretty decent connection regardless. But I'll go ahead and plug this back up so I can hear myself in zero latency land. Hey, we have Doc in the house. I'm going to do a joke that I'm sure he's heard a lot. What's up, Doc? There's a whole, I'm sure everybody in the world said that, and he's probably rolling his eyes like, yes, I've heard that so many times. You probably also hear Great Scott a whole lot too. All the Doc references. But I tell you, Doc, he is the brain power behind Halter Technical, and he is quite an intelligent guy. Halter Technical is a brand that they make the field monitor, which is a single ear, high quality designed inner ear monitor that you can use if you're single ear on set trying to listen to a Comtech. And then he makes the scene monitors too. They do have a YouTube channel and also, and so you can check out his channel if you're interested in doing on set work. Now, so the big question I have is, all right, so I screwed in the microdot connector to this, so that way we know that the DA35 is now connected up. Ah, great. Again, this is why I don't live stream. I cut out my videos like crazy. So we have a pin here. We have the jack there. So we are plugging this in and then going to twist it around there until it connects up. All right. So this right here. Let me actually read some of these comments here. Cool, I didn't know they worked on that one. Much respect to the man who can work a full production day, puts his kids to sleep. Actually, they were asleep by the time I got home, and still have enough energy to give a dissertation on paper tape technique. It's been great looking. Okay. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do now. We have our W.Lav right here. We're going to unplug so there is no confusion. We're going to unplug. I'm going the wrong way with it. All right, so that's something that I will point out here. This is, you go normally lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, as they say, and you would have to go this way around a microphone to make that work, but then you look at it from the microphone perspective. So this is actually loosening it if I go clockwise, and it tightens it around the microphone if I go to the left. So that to me feels like it's backwards. So that's a really interesting thing. So I'm going to go ahead and plug directly up into the HDTX because I really want to hear how this sounds on a lav mic. So, moment of truth. We are going to connect it up. And what am I doing wrong? Oh, I didn't click it all the way in. And now it should tighten. All right. It's not tightening. It unclicked itself again. Sure, I'm doing something wrong here. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to plug this in, and I'm going to go ahead and go into the menu, and we're going to select the input type XLR. We're going to change that over to TRS. And the mic level is back to go. So let's see how this is right now. I have no mic level. It's because it's not connected up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with this down here. Now it's tight. Now it feels it's tightening now. So I clicked it in there and I tightened it in. Don't forget to turn off the phantom power. It automatically turned itself off. When I went into it, I mean, it's only going to send power through the XLR anyway. So I'll show you real quick here. Input type, I don't know if you can see this. I'll try to hold it steady for you. Hit select. It says TRS or XLR. I'll go down to XLR, hit select. Now it says 48 volt phantom off or 48 volt phantom on. That's what I go. So if I see 48 volt phantom on, and now I go back, it's now looking for volume in here, and it says it's muted right now. Well, that would be the reason why. It probably muted it because I'm changing sources. So if I were to plug in the microphone again, up here, it's still muted. So I'll go over here and drop this down. Mute is on. So I'm going to hit that, say mute is now off. So you can actually do all this remotely. It still says the mute is on. I wonder if it's because I have two microphones plugged in. So let's disconnect the S-Mic 2S. I'm going to go back in here, and let's just do this the right way. It says mute is on, probably because I was confusing with the two microphones. So I'm going to say right here, TRS. I've selected it. I'm going to go down here and see if I can turn off the mute. Off. It says off, and it's right there. Okay, good. So if I go back to the main screen here, there's my VU meter. So it's moving. So we're now ready to go. Okay, so what I was doing wrong here before is I wasn't plugging this in. I wasn't pushing this in all the way and then tightening it, which in all fairness, I have a hard time grabbing around something like this. I could easily plug it on the BPTX, but this I'm ready to hear. So what we're going to do now is bring down my level right here and bring it up. All right, so here we go. This is the first test of the Deity W.Lav. So how's this audio level coming in? It sounds kind of low to me. I'm going to raise it up a bit more. Nice, doesn't allow for shenanigans. So I guess it wants to make sure that you say, all right, look, you got two mics plugged up here. What do you want to do? What do you want to mess up? You're recording? No, you're not going to do that. I'm going to have a failsafe built in. Okay, so this is, if I talk directly down into it, you can tell that this is indeed this lav right here. All right. I'm speaking into this right now, and what you normally run into when you have a lav down here, you would normally want it to be on the solar plexus of the chest. Right now, it's a little bit higher than that, so it's getting underneath my chin just a little bit, which is something called chin shadow. Chin shadow is like, you see how if I stay to the side here, it's a W-lav, you're right. If I stay to the side like this, and this lav is right here on my chest, it is actually supposed to be out in front of your mouth. So that way it is not like back here would be where the lav is. Well, let's do it this way. So if it's from the side here, the lav isn't back here and your mouth in front of it, because then it's technically off axis to it. So yeah, it's not that bad at all. I mean, the W-lav is supposed to sound better than the Connect Lav. The Connect Lav is the lav that comes with the Deity Connect system. So the W-lav is supposed to is supposed to be an upgrade for that, and I think it is. I think it is an upgrade. And so, if, for example, bear with me for a second while I change over and grab some of this stuff. Okay, so the Connect Lav that comes with, I'm hearing some plosives on this, and it's probably because I'm breathing down onto it. But in the Connect Lav kit, oops, it helps if I take the actual locks off, doesn't it? Again, this is why I don't do unboxings on camera. All right, this is probably it. All right, put that on my trash can so that way. All right, this is the Connect Lav. And if I take this off there, it looks kind of like a, what is it? The Sennheiser, what is it? ME2? ME2 Gold, something like that. But you see the design difference, how it looks like it has a windscreen built in. I can't remove that. And because of that, it's going to, this little clip on it, it's not going to come off. I can adjust it down and put it onto the cable, but that's not going to help me a whole lot because I would have to completely remove that. So the way you would actually do that with this is you'd have to twist this wire on the clip all the way to the side until you pinch the cable and get it off there. I don't want to do that right now. I want to actually, show this is what it would look like. So it kind of has this little ridge around with a built-in windscreen. Now, comparing that, now to the W-lav right there. Now, because it was in the chin shadow of my on my chest, it was lower before. It was not on axis to my mouth. It was slightly underneath. Now, to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, you can see the difference here. That it almost looks like the W-lav is the same kind of thing, but without the ridge at the top. That's the way it kind of looks. I'm sure there's more to it than that. If Andrew was still in here, then it would be so much better. But it's not actually. Sorry about all the noise. It's not a perfect match size-wise, if you can see that. So it is a little bit smaller, which is fine. To give you an idea of how the Connect Lav sounds, we will switch over to that. So I won't put the windscreen on. We'll go to it live here. I am going to put the clip on because, and I'll tell you, I thought about not doing this in a live stream tonight. I thought about just taking this out and recording stuff. But then it's, what time is it in my time zone here? It is 2:26 a.m. And yes, I have to be at work tomorrow. So, yeah, ME2. Yeah, Sennheiser ME2. So, that's the way it looks. But if I want to let you guys hear what it sounds like, I will unplug this and we'll plug in the Connect Lav and you can hear the difference. Now, actually, I should let you demo this first the way it normally is. So if I have it underneath my chest, if I put it directly in front of me, my mouth is a direct line of sight to this microphone, to Lavalier microphone. And I'm going to leave my opinions out of this live stream tonight, so that way it's going to be saved for my video. But this is the way that it sounds. And yeah, it does sound to me as an improvement to the Connect Lav, as it should. So let me knock over some stuff. It is now on axis to my mouth. Now I want you to listen to how it goes off axis. It's not off axis right now. It's still on axis because the microphone is pointed directly at my mouth. As I start to lower it a little bit, it's still on axis. It's still on axis. Listen, 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 listen. Now it is starting to get under my chin. You hear the difference there? Just from here to here, it is now not in the chin shadow. The microphone is now directly on axis to my mouth, but as I bring it to my chest here, now it starts to get a little bit of that chin shadow, which blocks out a little bit of the highs because it cannot see my mouth anymore. What it's seeing is the bubble. Like if I had chewing gum in my mouth and I blew a bubble, it would be like that is where the sound is that it's listening to. So because it's in the chin shadow, it's cutting out a little bit of the mids and highs. Not so much the lower part because that's generated more from the chest. Because you're able to generate the low part from the chest, that's one of the reasons why you don't want to underboom. Because if you underboom, you're usually going to get more bass than you would mids and highs. You overboom, you're going to get the highs and mids, and then you're going to get the chest evenly mixed out there because it's basically a little bit more distance. You want to get a little bit more distance between your bass and your microphone. Okay, so this is the way that the W.Lav sounds, and I will add the clip back here. And I'll clip it onto my shirt. So this is the way it sounds if it's clipped onto my shirt. I'll leave it there for just one more second here. That way you can hear the way it sounds. So hopefully all that stuff just made sense and it provides some insight here. I don't know how many people we have in chat here. It doesn't really tell me. YouTube does not tell me much anything. But it does have manage moderators, and I will remove Deity microphone since he is no longer here. Okay. So... all right. Oops, what did I do? I just closed that thing. Why did I close it? Okay, so next thing we're going to do is I'm going to connect up. Connect up. See what I did there? I did it again. Ha ha ha. I'm so awesome. We are going to... I'm contemplating switching it out with a different one that I can hear better. All right, I'm going to unplug this, and we're going to watch and see if that light goes red, because if it does, it's muting it automatically as soon as I unplug it. I have 16 in chat, 17 waiting now, 18. Oh, 17 watching now. I was going to say, there's not a waiting list to get in here. All right, we're going to bring up... actually, I'm just going to unplug it and go for it. All right, I'm not going to lock it in place here. So this is the ME2 looking Connect Lav. Oh, geez. I should really do this a better way. Okay, so this is the way this microphone sounds right now. The ME2 design looking Connect Lav with the little ridge around there and then the built-on little screen, little windscreen. If that were on a COS 11, it would just be the windscreen, the metal screen. There's two different versions of them. But this is the way it sounds in front of me. And you heard it not too long ago. Yeah, fancy live stream. Nice way to stay up for that turnaround. You know, Seth, yes, exactly. You caught it. I have a 4:30 p.m. call tomorrow and a 4 o'clock pre-call. So I have the wonderfulness of having to find something to stay up at night. And that's what I'm doing right now, is we're talking into this microphone in a live stream, giving you an idea of the way these microphones sound live. So that's exactly what we're doing here. Seth nailed it. Took your advice and got the D3 Pro and loving it. Yeah, the D3 Pro is a very, very good sounding microphone. It sounds very full. I know Curtis Judd recently compared the Rode NTG to the D3 Pro, and he said that the D3 Pro is a little bit more bassy than the NTG. I don't have any issues with the way the D3 Pro sounds. I mean, I did not honestly ask Rode when they announced the NTG. I told them I was interested in the NTG 5, which I had the first review on YouTube about. Booyah. And I did review that one because I was very interested in hearing how it sounds. But in all honesty, I have so many things I need to review. There's some fun videos coming up. I will tell you. I'll give you a little bit of tidbit of knowledge on some stuff here. I have 2 reviews. I'm going to be doing the HDTX, and I'm going to be doing all of these lavs in 2 different videos. I don't know which one I'm going to do first. I'll probably start with the lavs, and I may end up hardlining them just to make sure that you hear how they sound in full fidelity. And then I'll compare them doing that in various different environments. And then I will probably at that point move to the HDTX transmitter recorder. And then after that, I have one other thing I need to review on a timely basis. Oh, geez. You know what? I have like 10 things I need to review at this point. But there's some others that are in the wings here. Like there's something right down there I want to do in a timely fashion because it gives me a wonderful opportunity to make fun of Bandrew. And I talked to Bandrew about it, and he's given me permission to use a clip of one of his videos. But it's going to give me a chance to kind of poke at him again a bit. If you've been listening to his Bandrew Says podcast, I poke at him quite a bit. I've done some live videos where, like, I side addressed a long shotgun microphone and asked him a question on how does he deal with trolls on his YouTube channel, and he noticed that I was side addressing a long shotgun microphone, but long shotgun microphones, depending on the one you use, can sometimes have an area of sensitivity. Like if you could imagine this is the microphone itself. Sometimes if you talk above it, close to the element right there, then you can find the right angle and talk into it in a way that it sounds pretty decent. And obviously a shotgun is made for you to come down the barrel, but if you talk into it at a slightly off-axis angle like this, sometimes you can find one that it actually sounds good. And I used a long shotgun microphone that was about 18 or 19 inches long, and I spoke into it, and I asked him that question, and he put it on his podcast, and he was like, "Alan, I don't appreciate you trolling me." He's joking, of course, because he's got a great sense of humor. But anyway, I also trolled him, not the BSP that just dropped last night, but the one that he did the previous week, the last one in the year 2019. I did a video and I said, good job on keeping up all the different content you do. And I said, here's something for you. And I put up a piece of artwork that you cannot read if you're colorblind, because he's colorblind. He didn't know what the thing said, but he put it out on his podcast anyway and said, tell me what it says. And I was laughing. I enjoy trolling him. He's got a great sense of humor. All right, so I've been blabbing for a while so that way you can hear the way this thing sounds. And I could do the same exact thing and show you the way it sounds if it's on my chest right next to the other one. So here you go. This is the way these microphones, the ME2 looking microphone, the Connect Lav, sounds if it's directly on my chest. So what I'm going to do is unplug this one and go back to the other one, which is the W.Lav. So that way it'll be on my chest as I open up the other one. Sorry. So you can hear instantly the fidelity difference between the Connect Lav and the W.Lav. Okay, so there you go. There you have it. I'm going to go ahead and put away the Connect Lav because I think we're done with that for this particular live stream. But you've heard it now, so the Connect Lav sounds the same as it did before. And there you go. Okay. So let us now unbox the next one. Oh, no, not unbox. We don't do that, do we? We do not do that. But what we will do is open it up, unzip the thing. All right, there's some fidelity. That's actually one of the tests you can do if you want to test a lav, is you can do what's called the key test. Whoa, I'm getting a lot of plosives on there, isn't it? What would you suggest for editing and monitoring headphones? For what purpose? It says Monster Rating Gaming, so I'm assuming you're a gamer. When I did a thing a few years ago or a couple years ago with Mr. Red Dragon, he's a streamer on Twitch, and I did the video where I upgraded his sound system. And when we upgraded it, one of the things that we did, I wanted to see, ooh, that looks awesome. All right, I know I'm cheating. I should be showing you guys. I'll come back to this one here. That'll be the last one I do. You'll see why. Okay.
Man, I'm nailing this thing with plosives. It would normally be on under a shirt. What would you recommend, though? Oh, Dervish. Okay, headphones for Dervish. ATH M40X headphones are great. Sony MDR 7506s are great. Those are two that I would say that if you want something relatively flat, that's what you could go for. ATH M40X, these are the 50Xs. I like a little bit more bass when I edit. It helps me to hear handling noise and stuff like that. And I really like the way that they sound. So I prefer the ATH M50X headphones for me. But anyway, so sharing. Let's go ahead and do this. Sharing is caring. Well, that's interesting. Okay, here's something I'm going to show you here. When you look at the W.Lav, it comes with one of these bad boys right here. This is what, it almost looks like a mini bumblebee. It doesn't have the inside ridge. Yeah, but it goes around and then it has a little pull thing on it that if you put it around a lav, you can tighten this around there for wind protection. Now, I don't know how effective that would be because I don't know just yet. I'll have to test it. But you see that little clip right there, how you press it in? I don't know if that touches the plastic lav, the outer part of the lav, if that's going to make any noise. If it's going to touch it and make a little, noise like that. We'll have to test it and see. But one of the things I noticed is that this is what the W.Lav comes with. And I'll put that right in there. But, and you notice here, this W.Lav is black. And this is the kit that comes with that. Now, here's what I was going to point out regarding. Did I confuse these lavs? That's not the right one. One second. That's not the right one. W.Lav. Yeah. All right, so this is the W.Lav Pro. And it helps if I don't show the man. I'm showing the microdot connector saying, why is this bigger? It shouldn't be. Well, it isn't if I show you the right size. This is a smaller lav than this is. See the difference in size? This is the W.Lav. This is the W.Lav Pro. So the W.Lav Pro is a smaller diameter microphone. If I were to glance at that, I would say it's not nearly as long as the Senken Cos 11D, but it has a slightly different design to it. It has if you notice, there's a little bit of recession right here at the very, very end of the two microphones. So it looks like it dips in ever so slightly, and it almost looks like it's threaded, but it's not. It's my eyes playing tricks on me. But that's the way that these two fit. If I were to take this and stick this, sorry, I know it sounds like garbage, but you can see the diameter difference right here. I don't know if you can see it against my hand, but I'm sure that sounds like garbage. I'm listening to it. That's the diameter difference, though. Let me connect this back up. The clip is different, and it still, does it, oh, it better twist around. It does. Okay, cool. So this is, it's clipped on. It's, is it designed where you can slide it over, you can pull it off. Good. Okay, good. Sorry, I had to just check it out on access to my eyes. Okay, now this is it's a very, very tight little clip right there. So this is designed so that way if you hold it, like this here, it's designed to hold it off of you just a little bit. Like you can see that distance right there off of the clips. That holds it away from your body and provides some air and isolation. So that way, hopefully your body won't hit the microphone, make a little bit of noise. The Pro version does the exact same thing. Now, when I first unpacked it, it was a little bit longer on there. So I guess that's to hold it a little bit farther away. But I'm anxious to hear how this sounds. I do notice that there is a small cable tie right here on the W.Lav, and it is Deity branded. But on the Pro version, there is not. It's a rubber band. So, hold on one second. I like I have the ATH M40X headphones. I like the sound, but you're gonna need aftermarket pads if you're going to wear them longer than a half hour. Well, you know what? I have a video called, what is it? It's all about, it's called like maximum ear comfort or maximum. I did it like 2.5 years ago. And I basically show the Rycote softies, these things right here. If you, not Rycote, what am I saying here? The softie is, what is the company that makes them? Geez, it's like Garfield Corporation, I believe, that makes them. They're hot. They're hot when it's cool, and it's cooler. It's cool when it's hot. They're very, very awesome, and I really like them a lot. They are just a solid thing. Man, I'm sorry for all this noise. They're very solid. They basically take the standard cans that comes on it, and it makes it sound a lot. I mean, it's acoustically transparent, but it makes it feel a lot better. So that way you don't. Also, when you take off like Sony MDR 7506 headphones, if it's hot outside, like when I was on Walking Dead, one of the things that always drove me crazy is if I did not have my softies on, my ears would sweat against the pads, and it would break off the little flakes all over my ears. And that drove me crazy, as it would anybody who, is out in the heat and getting stuff stuck to their ears. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm connecting up the DA35 that comes with the W.Lav Pro. Again, it's about the diameter. It says on the screen, 4 millimeter diameter according to the Deity site. Yes, that's correct. So... yes, Garfield. So Doc over there is actually saying everything. Okay, so Garfield softies, yes. Okay, great. And those are great. I love them to death. So let's go ahead and unplug the Pro, and we're going to listen to the way or unplug the regular and listen to the Pro. I'm going to stop talking. Lower self noise instantly. So I noticed a lower self noise. It sounds more natural. I like the Pro. Okay, so the Pro sounds good. How is it on plosives? Plosives. If I want to nail the microphone, there it goes. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and connect this thing up. Connect Lav. Connect the Lav. See how it sits. So it naturally sits away from my body just a little bit. You see how it is on my shirt? I guess the way that this is designed is the clip actually would hold it off of your body ever so slightly. That's cool. That's good. So it does sound good. It does sound better. It does not, right now, I'll be truthful to you. I'm listening. Whenever you record your own voice, it's very difficult for you to judge how you sound. And that's exactly what I'm running into right now. Not only that, because we're using the Connect Lav and it has 19 milliseconds of delay on there, I'm also hearing a slight delay on my voice, which is not something that distracts me. It's not like speech jamming, where it's usually between about 150 and about 600 milliseconds, depending on the person. If you have that kind of a delay on you, which at the end of this stream, if you want to hear a demonstration of that, I do have a Shark, the Behringer Shark. I forgot what the model number is, but it shows you some delay, and we could really play. I could add up to like 2.5 seconds delay on this stream. So I was jokingly saying to someone, I could use it as a delay dump if I have a guest. I can have the guest delayed and do everything delayed, and if he says a bad word, I can instantly toss the fader down. Instantly different, very interesting, and I agree with you, Doc. I'm gonna, like I said, I'll have to save my opinion of it until I could actually listen to how they sound closer. What I'll do is I'll record some samples and I'll listen to them before I make my determination. But that's the way I usually do things when I test them, is I listen to it and I have to think about it when I hit playback on it. So I usually record like 5 minutes or something like that. Agree, we're all freaked out at hearing your own voice because we are accustomed to hearing ourselves through our heads, not the air. Yes, the Pro is better, and I like it too. It sounds really good. This is also a tan colored one. So now that's with the chin shadow, I might add. This is still underneath my chin. If I bring this out more in front of me, this is the way it sounds in a more natural type positioning to my mouth. So right here, I'm talking directly into it. It's 6 inches off the mouth. And obviously if you can get a microphone planted, like if I planted it down here, and right there. If I had it planted down there, then you wouldn't hear all of this noise and nonsense. That's the reason why you would use a plant mic. I'm actually using the cable right now. But here's some things that you would check on something like the Pro. Hear if you hear noises. Sometimes you would hear on a Lav, like you would hear me playing with the cable. Now what you're hearing right now is me hitting the cable against the side of the microphone that it's clamped onto. That's what that is. But if I were to secure that and make sure that it did not come off, and I'm now playing with this cable, you don't hear any noise going down the cable. So, yeah, I'm going to have to hold my judgment until I can actually hear the thing. It does come with the same kind of tape. So if you want to attach it directly to your skin, you can. It's a lower profile. It's about the size of a COS 11. I wonder if that means, if it would work on things like the RM11, or makes me wonder if some of the Hydamike stuff would work on it. I might have to try it on an RM11. It helps if I actually grab the microphone. Let's go ahead and take this off, and we're going to add the tape to it as if we're going low profile mode again. And I will add it directly to my chest yet again. And it is now connected up directly to my chest. So now it is definitely under the chin shadow. Because it is on my chest. It is omnidirectional pattern. Most microphones are, or most Lavs are, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, a lot of times people would say, well, why don't you get a cardioid? Why don't you? You can. As a matter of fact, a cardioid microphone would pick up less footsteps. Now, let the truth be known, even an omnidirectional microphone, anything, even if like an omnidirectional handheld microphone, any of those, even though it's omnidirectional and the frequency response pattern and stuff may pick up looking more omnidirectional, if you listen to it, fidelity-wise, the fidelity does drop off when you go off axis. The frequency response is still there, but the detail disappears a little bit when you go off axis. And the reason why that is because you are no longer looking down the barrel at that capsule. So right now, this microphone may be able to pick me up just fine at any and all angles. But think about this. The element is right there on the microphone. As long as I am talking directly into that microphone and it is able to basically see me, if it can see me at any angle right there, it may be omnidirectional, but the detail is going to start falling off as soon as it faces a different direction. It may be picking up all the same frequencies, but that detail is going to be lacking a little bit when you point it another direction. So let's see. Please try the Hydamike if you have one. You know what I might do? I might reach out to Hydamike and say, would you like to send me a care package with some stuff that I can use to test? I might do that. I might send them an email when we're done with the stream, see if they're interested in doing that. I don't have any other stuff. Actually, you know what? There may be some stuff at work. We might have some of the Hydamike stuff. I know we have, and that would be something that would fit a COS 11, so it looks like it would fit this microphone just fine. I'll see what we have tomorrow, or today, I should say. 4:30 p.m. call time. Yay, buddy. And we can be a little goofy in the chat, and it's not distracting as it is in class. Chris Hoffman. Yeah, I think Ellie's gonna... Yeah. Chris Hoffman, do you go to some of the classes that I do in person? Like, are you going to be at the sound utility class I'm teaching this Sunday? Because it almost sounds like you've been in at least one of my classes before. Sorry, I'm terrible with names. As a kid, I could remember everybody in the world's name. And now just seeing it here in chat it's not ringing any bells. I probably would see your face and say, oh, I know who you are. But seeing your name here, I've personally shoved a whole bunch of different mics into RM11. Don't tell Sankin. Yeah, I know. They're all about the same. No? Okay. Those are actually pretty good. Okay, well, we have heard this one. I'm going to put the clip back on here, and I'm going to plant it in front of me. That way, you're not going to hear as much movement off of me. Marcus, you are a local guy to me. Big question I have for you is, Marcus, are you in any union? The class I'm teaching this upcoming Sunday is a a member only class. The union has hired me to teach a sound utility class, and I can only have union members in the class. So if you are union, then send me a message at soundspeeds@yahoo.com and we can talk about it. If you are not union, I hate to say it, but would not be able to attend. Okay. Whoa, we're starting to lose some stuff. Rycote circles are starting to fall out of here. So now we are looking at the micro. The micro has a very thin cable, very small, and it actually has the same kind of form factor as it looks almost like the DPA 6060 in size. It's not rugged like the 6060 is. Okay, sorry, Doc, thanks for coming in as long as you did. I really appreciate it. And appreciate you spending the time here tonight, Doc. I really appreciate it. Okay, so this is the micro. Micro being that it's 3 millimeters in size as opposed to 2. So let's show you the difference in the size right here. You thought this was small enough. The micro is smaller. It is smaller. Right there. Not quite as small as a B6, because a B6 is even smaller diameter. Happy New Year. Good night, Dervish. Thanks for coming in. So there you have it right there. Is the size is quite a bit difference between the Sanken-looking Deity W.Lav Pro, the one that's about the diameter of the Sanken costs 11, and then the one that's about the size of the Deity or the DPA 6060 is right there. That is the micro. So why don't we go ahead and pull this little bad boy out. I'll go ahead and clip that onto me. And, oh, it's over there. I was going to say, I know they gave me an adapter. They wouldn't shortchange me like that. All right. So here we are. We're about to test. First testing of the micro online. The micro is indeed 3 millimeters. Yes, it is. It is just the same diameter as a 6060. Now, if I didn't have the 6060 at work right now, which we would be listening to it right here. But you know what? I can probably do some comparisons when we do the actual video. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to bring this out ever so slightly. Let us now connect up the micro. So let's clip that on right there. And we're going to connect up the micro. First listening to the micro. Whoa, Mike Rowe, like a Dirty Jobs guy. Okay, so here we are. We're listening to the micro right now. I'm going to move it for fairness sake down to where the, what is it? Nomenclature. All right, so we had the micro, we had the pro. Pro is where it was. That was the pro that we were just listening to. So this is the way the micro sounds. Not waterproof like the pro, right? But that's one difference also, that the DPA 6060 is waterproofed. You can take that thing and actually, that's one of the ways that they clean a lot of the Deity Lavs on stage work out in New York and Broadway. They'll take them directly out of the hair, they'll swish it around in distilled water, and they'll hang it up over something and let it just air dry overnight. So this is the way that this microphone sounds on my chest. I'm going to put this bad boy here in front of me. That thing is tiny. The only thing I will say is I really wish it was black, because if it was, you could, I could hide it. I could hide it very easily and run the cable up, into a hat or something like that. Now, the different colors actually do make sense. Now, let's listen to the cable. That was not that way on the Pro. So it is making noise when you slide your hand down it on the micro. Notice that. So I'm going to hang this up or clip that over there. And we're going to slide. I'm going to go a little bit farther away from the lav and see if it's down here, what kind of noise we have. So it's only when you get closer you start to hear some transmission noise. This is one of the reasons why we also say don't add tension, because if you have it a line that's very, very tense like that, then you can very easily hear the transmission noise all the way down. It's like kind of like a guitar string. If you have a guitar string over, like, you know, strung over a guitar, you can hit that guitar string anywhere and it makes a vibration noise. A lav is very much the same way if you tighten the cable too much. So it may not have been a fair comparison between those two. See, even down here you're getting transmission noise, but if I go slack with it, you're not going to hear it nearly as loud. I mean, what you may be hearing is my actual fingers sliding down the thing. Let me go down here. I may need to actually isolate them in order to do the test. Cable noise, yeah. That would be the difference. Those are a couple of things I'll be doing in my my review to compare them. But yeah, so that is the HD TX. I have not recorded with it because it does not come, to my knowledge, with an SD card. I do have an SD card right here next to me at all times. I could toss it in there and hit record and see what it does. But then right now we're transmitting. And if I transmit from here to there, it's going to cut out the recording. If I hit record, it's going to start recording here. And I'll have a crystal clear recorded track here, but you're not going to hear me anymore. I don't want to do that just yet. I'll do that in the review, don't worry. But there is USB-C to charge, micro SD card slot right there, headphones. I thought it was really funny. Andrew was like, no, what are you doing? Because I was plugging in my headphones up there, just not paying any attention. Okay, so that is the way all of these sound. Personally, you're not going to really beat the way that a lav sounds when it's directly on access to your mouth. So if I come over here, and what I'll do to show you is, I know my audio level has dropped ever so slightly because it's farther away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the transmitter, or I'm going to go into the lav level, the mic level, and I'm going to boost it a little bit. Because I'm farther away, you're going to want to hear me a little bit more full. So I'll go to about 12 dB. That's going to compensate pretty decently because if you notice, my fingers were right here with the lav, and that's now about twice the distance away. So twice the difference, twice the distance, is a difference of about 6 dB. So there you go. Watch my video on, what is that video called? The one, it's the +3, +6, what are all the different microphones, adding decibels is I believe what it's called. If you add decibels, then that's how you can tell what things are. So anyway, right now it is twice the distance away than it was before. It is now planted on the microphone shock mount right there, and that way, if you were doing anything like this and I were to use a lav, it'd be perfectly effective being right there in front of me, where I can pick up my volume and noise. Great, right there. Okay. Did everybody hear all of the microphones that we tested? All of the Deity microphones. I started with the Connect Lav and the W.Lav, then went on to the W.Lav Pro and then the W.Lav Micro right now. We even heard at the very beginning the S-Mic 2S through the HD TX. Do you know if Andrew is making a 3-point LEMO connector for either of these mics? I believe so. I believe that's one of the reasons why they did a micro dot, is so that way they're versatile and you can dial in on the connector you want. Now, granted, that does mean anytime you have a micro dot and you have an adapter, it does lengthen the connector length. I mean, if you have this on a transmitter, it's going to stick up farther than it would if it were just a connector that came out that far. Like the one that's on the Connect Lav. Actually, wait a minute. That may be an adapter also. I don't think it is. Yeah. See how... Oh, it's because it's a little bit smaller. You see the difference right there? Because the Connect Lav, which is this one that's wrapped up right there, is just a connector that goes straight into 3.5 millimeters, 1/8 of an inch. It doesn't have the fatter part here, which is the microdot. The microdot is screwed onto an adapter right now. And when you don't have that connection to worry about, then you can just go straight into a connector. So the connector is about the same on both the DA35 adapter and it is on the connector, on the W.Lav. I mean, they're almost the exact same size. There's a little bit more to this because it has to adapt to a microdot versus just be soldered directly in there. But that would be if it's hardline. So I would very much imagine that this would probably go to a TA5 for like Electro wireless. And it would probably, I mean, obviously it does have this one right here for 3.5 millimeter, 1/8 inch applications. So like this would work with a G3, G4 Sennheiser. It'd work with the Sony, what is it, UMP, whatever it's called, system. It also works with the Deity Connect. And then I would definitely imagine that they would go to a Limo, so that way you could use it with Zaxcom. So that way all the covers, all the different WYSICOM, Zaxcom, anybody who basically works with the Limo would be able to use this. And TA5, like Electrosonics, you'd be able to use also. And it's going to have all the different choices there for you. So you have, I guess you would have to buy either multiple adapters, which I think. So why don't you check me on this? Well, actually, you know what? I'm looking right here at Deity's page. Might as well just go to it and see. Products. Wireless. Oops. Products. Wireless. We will go to... Doesn't have the adapters. I'm on the Connect Lav right now. Oh, I almost did that as a microphone. It says firmware update 1.33 now released. Hold on a second. Didn't this have... I'm going to have to look at it. Now I'm between the microphone. But I thought this said the firmware 1.34. There is a newer firmware on this. So that tells me that Deity is probably going to be dropping a new firmware here soon. Because if not, I mean, it's on here. It's on this Duo RX. When we looked at that earlier, I was like, wait a second now. So there's a newer firmware. So there's a new one. New part, the coolest part of the new Lavs is the microdot connector. So yeah, it is very versatile. I thought Sony uses a 3.55 millimeter jack. If you're talking about their lower end, their what is that thing? The UMP, the U. Is their system that's like $300, something like that? Michael Wynn uses them as talkbacks on his system. Trying to remember exactly what that was, but that system is a fairly new system. It was out, I think, released in 2019, if memory serves. But that Lav is, I mean, it sounds a little better than the G3s do, but I don't think it has... It sounds brighter, I remember that. And it does sound a little bit more open than the G3s do. I think the G3s had a little bit longer range, but it didn't punch through the walls nearly as well, which doesn't sound right to me because maybe they were different frequencies. I don't know. I don't remember. But okay, so we have quite a few different microphones here that we have tested tonight. Tested a total of 5 of them in this stream. So there we go. Is there anything else that you would like to see or hear tested? You want me to go through some more features here, and or I mean, I can just answer questions if you have any. I should almost switch back to this microphone right now and put away the Connect system for a bit. There we go. Now we are now off of the wireless system and we are connected up to the wired
system once again. Okay. You're gonna hear the background noise drop out because it's routed right now to go through my this microphone that's right there is going through my DBX 286S, and it's being compressed, noise remove. I'm doing a gate on it, and then it's probably being processed also by my computer, or at least gated out a little bit there. Okay, I have to go. Good night. All right. Well, Alejandro, thank you for coming in tonight and spending some time here. Hopefully, you don't have to be on set tomorrow and be driving yourself completely crazy trying to stay awake. Me, I have a 4:30 p.m. call time. So what I normally do when I have an overnight is I have to get a full night's sleep. If I am doing like a regular hours during the day, get up at 5 a.m. and go to work and be there by 7. If I'm doing something like that, then I can very easily stay up and get only like 3 or 4 hours of sleep, and I'll be functioning fine. I'll be a little on the tired side, let the truth be known, and I'll be dragging a little bit, but nothing that a Zip Fizz won't be able to help, even though I don't normally resort to caffeine during the day. And this is one thing I'm also going to point out here. When you look at these lavs, the W.Lav, the W.Lav Pro, the W.Lav Micro, it has 3 slots right here. So you could buy different adapters. If you have the 3.5 millimeter, you have the TA5, and you have the Limo. You could very easily plug them directly in there and have all of them. I believe originally, if memory serves, Deity was thinking about sending all of them out on every single one. But then what did that do? Drives up the cost. And they said, you know what? Let's not do that. Because I was talking to Andrew about that, and I believe that's something he told me. Okay. So about the Micro also, it does indeed have the same soft circles that that you find on other lavs. And it does have one Rycoat softy, or overcover rather. That's a overcover for wind protection. It does also have little bitty foamies that you would put on there, little bitty foam windscreens that make it a lot more visible. Hopefully, though, if you're running it underneath clothing, it's not going to be nearly as visible, and you don't have to do that. So there you have that. I'm going to go ahead and power down the HDTX here. Power is that. Press and hold, and bye-bye. I'll do the same thing here. Oh, helps if I actually press the right button. I did not charge this up before we used it either for this video. So that's cool. It worked just fine. All right, so the next one was this one here. Another tan colored one, so it would blend in with skin tone just fine. That's another thing about lav microphones. You want to get one that matches the skin tone of the person that you're using it on if you're going underneath the shirt. And the reason why is because it will blend in with that person's skin tone much better. If you have a Caucasian person, their skin is more orangish, kind of pinkish like mine is. And you would want to use a microphone that more closely matches the skin tone. If you use something more along the lines of this, it's going to stand out against my skin, won't it? So you don't want to do that. Unless you're trying to hide it underneath a black shirt along a seam or something like that. I mean, there's rules and there's exceptions to them. But as a general rule, that's what you would normally do if you're laving someone up, is you're going to try to match the color of the microphone to their skin. Like I said, there are rules and exceptions, but that is generally what you try to do. All right, so this was a fun little thing here. No questions from me, just wanted to hear them. The Pro was by far your favorite. Was interested in hearing the Micro. I'm lukewarm on that one. Interested in seeing your full reviews. Cool. What I will say is that the microphone that's typically used in super suits, if you watch Marvel or DC movies, a lot of the time, those are Countryman B6s because they're extremely low profile. Well, personally, I love the way the DPA 6060 sounds, but sometimes size-wise, you have to get the smallest possible, lowest profile microphone you can. And that would be the B6. But personally, I would be pushing, if I'm on a team, I would be pushing for a 6060. because the 6060 to me is a much better sounding microphone than the B6. B6 has definitely got a place in the industry, though. It is very low profile. It's small. That thing is so small. You can stick it, you know, places that no other lav will go. You could run it around a seam and stick it, you know, up in the side here. And even if you were looking right at it, you probably wouldn't notice what you're looking at. Here's one thing I will point out about the regular W.Lav. It only has a place for 2 adapters. I find that kind of interesting. It does have, it has the room also, probably that was taken away from that because these windscreens, it has the place for the lav would be right there because I guess it's a fatter cable and the lav itself is a little bit bigger. So because it has this windscreen on there, which I'll at least show, we'll connect it up. That's the micro dot. Let's not do that again. Make me look all crazy. All right, so this would go on here. If you notice, you open that up, and there is a gap that you can stick the lav mic in. Then you would tighten it. Oops. That was not fur I pulled through there. Let me not go off axis to this. If you tighten it up, it will grab hold of that lav pretty effectively. Now, if I give it a little bit of gap there, I should be able to connect up the clip again. All right, let's connect that bad boy up. Let's go right here. Okay. So, geez, the Duo RX is still connected up. Why don't we connect this back up, and we'll hear how it sounds with the high wind protection on this. So we'll just go ahead and connect it back up because it's already, all we need to do is just power it back up and it should go. Power on. Power on. All right. VU meter is rocking. Okay, here we go. Bringing that up. Helps if I turn it on, doesn't it? Okay. So this would be in wind cover mode. So I'll have to do a comparison also to see how it sounds with and without the different windscreen, with and without the windscreen on there. We'll do that test as well. Let's see. Call off to Sleepy Land, Chris Hoffman. Okay, great live stream. Kept us entertained and informed. Thank you. Next challenge for Deity, color changing laws. You know, if I know Andrew, he's probably working on that already. Okay, let's see how this is if it's right here. So that would be a very obtrusive looking thing. I mean, it's maximum contrast to my shirt. Just about. I mean, if the shirt was black, it'd be perfectly maximum contrast. But that's the way it looks. Now, let's do a plosive test here, because this is designed to get rid of some wind. So if I say pesky porcupines prefer pink pillows or pickles, it's popping a little bit, but I mean, it provides an air bubble there. Yeah, there's some air in there. Yeah, I'm touching all the way down to it now. I mean, I definitely think that it's definitely better than it would be without. Yeah, oh yeah, geez. Yeah, it's a lot. It does a lot to knock it down. Sorry, just blowing into the microphone like that. Who taught me to do sound? All right. Sorry, I know a lot of this loud noise. It sounds like garbage. All right, but there you go. This is the fidelity with this on there. Now, what I could also do, let's just be completely terrible again. Okay, I'm going to bring this down for a second. And bring this back up. because I'm going to add, I should actually try to take some pride in this live stream, right? Sound wise. I'm going to add the windscreen back on there, and then we're going to add a little bit of the high gain back, which is the, what do they call a mic boost on the Deity Connect system. So that way, if you use the mic boost, you can actually recoup a little bit of the higher frequencies lost from doing loss in the muffle of a high noise or a high windscreen like this. Sorry, my brain is starting to fade a little bit. I was up early this morning and off to work. Worked about we had a shorter day. It was about a 10-hour day. And then I have to stay up now until 7 a.m. So, yay, the world of film. So glamorous. I knew I didn't put that on there right. I knew it. The reason I knew it is because I had a lot of room there for me to put the clip on. I'm trying not to pull out all the fur. All right, so let's do this. I'm surprised Deity isn't doing anything wireless for mobile phone users. Well, who said they're not? They have the V.Lav. The V.Lav works fine for mobile phone users. You can just plug it right in. Okay, so this is now plugged in very nicely with the extra little bit of the tail sticking out. Let's put the clip back on. Add a shotgun wirelessly to an iPhone. Well, we do have right now the Connect with the Connect system right here in front of me. You can connect a shotgun microphone up to, and then use the Connect directly into the, you could put this with your iPhone. I mean, this is much bigger than the iPhone, but it does work if you're hell-bent on having a shotgun microphone. But you know what? Actually, they do. What am I saying here? They have the VMic D3 Pro. That's a shotgun microphone, and it plugs directly into your iPhone. They also have the D3. I have a video that's called like the comparison between the D3 and the D3 Pro in less than 100 seconds or a minute or 3 minutes or something like that. Check that one out. It'll show you the differences between the two of them. Okay. So here is this. Ready to go. And what we're going to do is I'm going to switch back over. I'm going to have to trim that cable just a little bit because the knot came out. That's why it's unraveled like that. I'll go ahead and trim it now, which I probably shouldn't do, but I will just because I am me. All right. So I'll actually tighten that. The knot came off of it. Is that rope or is that? Because if that's twine, if that's nylon, I think it's nylon. I may just burn it. I'll just burn that, stick that together so that way it's not going to come undone. Okay, so let us now hear the way this sounds. I'm going to clip this onto the microphone right there. There's the wind, and I'm going to switch this back over. All right. So let's boost this back up to the level it was once at, which is right about there. I think that's a pretty good match to it. Now, with the Deity Connect system, you have the ability. It's not twist on there, locked in place. I won't do that right now because I'm about to unplug it again. But if I need to boost this up, I can go over here into the frequency boost off right there. Hit select, and what I can do is start raising that up, and that's going to basically increase the presence ever so slightly. So I'm going to go way up here to add like 10 dB of presence to me. So now I'm sounding higher pitched than ever. The lows are way below where they should be right now, and my highs are nicely boosted. I mean, that's actually a trick that they do in infomercials.
in case you're not familiar with it, infomercials will boost the highs, because if you boost the highs enough and you add a lot of presence, then what it basically gives you an impression of is you can't really turn away. It's kind of a sharpness that is over sibilant is really what it is, and it drives me crazy personally. But it's designed so that way you can't really distract yourself off of it. Lower frequencies, you tend to normally almost ignore them. You don't really actually ignore them. You just don't notice them as much as you do the highs and mids. And if there's like a lot of sibilance on your voice, like there is right now on mine, it's knocking me out here. I'm going to back it down a little bit, all the way off, and you can hear the difference here. There's no real highs because you're hearing a little bit of muffle from that wind protection on there right now. So what I'll do is I'll add probably maybe 3 dB. And from what I can tell, because I am listening to my own voice live, 3 dB sounds okay. Yeah, it's not bad at all. Now, if you're trying to compensate for chin shadow, so like if, for example, this were, sorry, stop for a second. So if I'm trying to overcompensate for chin shadow also, that's when, if you're late to the stream here, that's if the lav is on my chest and it is underneath my chin here, it is off axis. Like if I take my hand here and I bring it up between the lav and my mouth, you're hearing the bass frequencies just fine coming off of my chest, but you're missing the mids and highs ever so slightly. And doing something like this, you're cutting out some of that detail. But the same thing happens on a lav that's on your chest, because my mouth is here and the lav is actually not able to see line of sight my mouth. My chin is blocking it. The lav is here, straight line directly up into my mouth. Like it may be, I think it's actually on line to it because it sounds like it is. But if I were to do this and lean forward and do this number here with my chin, so that way my chin is definitely off axis to the microphone, then what you can do to compensate for something like that is you can increase the frequency boost right here. So it still sounds like it's on axis to me. That's because I've now boosted it to 5 dB. Now, as soon as I come into a more regular position where it's on axis to my mouth again, then I'm starting to kill the microphone again. I need to back off a little bit, maybe around 3 dB. Let's see, 2 dB. All right, I would go between 2 and 3 dB. In my headphones right now, it sounds different than it does over the stream, but I would say that right now, this is a pretty decent example of the way it would be. Okay. So right there, 3 dB. And then if I were to straight up remove this wind protection, it's grabbed the fur. Sorry, so much bad noise. I know, geez, who taught me to do sound? All right, now it is so far boosted right here. Those highs are knocking us out. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to drop down the sibilance down to a normal level. So the windscreen to my ears here in the live stream sounded like it added maybe about 3 dB. It actually sounds a little bit more sibilant now because it's on axis to my mouth. These may, I don't know exactly for certain what the frequency pickup is, but it may be a little bit more boosted in the highs. I don't know that for certain. I should almost look it up right now since I'm on the Deity page. Tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and switch back over to this microphone so that way you're not continuing to be killed by me messing with this thing. And what we'll do is we'll just look at it. I'm going to power this down, unplug, and we'll put this away. And then we'll look at it here. Let's go ahead and put this away. And that way I can pull out my keyboard again, because my keyboard I put away when I do these live streams. Because if I'm playing with something here in front of me, because it's in my way. One thing I'm not doing is standing up. I normally, as I'm doing my videos, if you watch the video, the interview I recently had with Curtis Judd, I'm standing up. I usually do a lot of my videos, my instructional 3BO series and
all the other education videos I'll do, I usually do standing up. It's only when I have to go to my computer will I go to the computer and sit down. Normally I'm standing up. I like the energy of just standing up and addressing um, the audience or addressing you guys, because it's, to me, if I sit down, it just drains my energy straight out. Um, and part of that's just because I'm naturally very energetic, just naturally by nature. I'm, as I'm sure you can imagine, very, very outgoing, very extroverted. My wife is an introvert, and she is very much like, I don't want to be anywhere near your YouTube stuff. Or she doesn't go to any of the social events that I go to, the mixer. Some guys bring their wives. She and the girls like, uh, avoid that kind of thing. It's just not their thing to go out in public, to sound things, sound events. Imagine that, right? It's funny because it's like when I end up doing some sort of an event and they actually go to it with me. It's really funny because a couple of times I've taken like daughters places and stuff, but they don't usually. They would usually prefer to do practically anything else than go to a sound event with me. Mainly because as soon as I get there, I usually get so excited and I start talking about stuff, and they're like, "Ah, there goes Dad. Just talking sound. We'll see you again in a few hours." It's pretty bad, but I usually, I talk to them and stuff. Obviously, when I see them and I'm with them, they're sleeping right now because it's like what, 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Alexa, what time is it? 3:29 a.m. There you go. At the time of this video, and I probably am, even though I normally do not share live streams on this channel. I will probably leave this on there as an example of what it is, and I'll probably get some hateful comments of people saying, "You're just talking too much, you're wasting so much time." But I want people to be able to hear what these microphones sound like, and the more you hear it, the more. One of the reasons why I mean, I could have blasted through it all real quickly. The reason I didn't is because the more you listen to something, the more you become accustomed to it. And so when I suddenly change up something, you're going to be looking at it as okay, well, um, if I change it up, then you suddenly see it as uh, you're able to hear how it sounds and how it sounds different. So I believe right now, let me go over here, change this thing, because apparently at some point I hit it. But anyway, what I'm saying is the more accustomed you get to a sound, the way it sounds, then I suddenly change it up, you'll hear it and say, that sounds different. How did that sound different? And you'll be able to tell that way. Good morning from Sweden. Simon, thanks for joining. What are we looking at? Well, I do have the DVR turned on so you can back it up. We were testing the Deity Connect, the HDTX transmitter. We were listening to the way that sounded with a Deity S-Mic 2S. Then we used the same transmitter, but we used it with lavs plugged into it. You plugged in the Connect Lav that comes with the Deity Connect system. Then we used the W.Lav. Then we used the W.Lav Pro. Then the W.Lav Micro. And I've already gone through them all, so I'm not going to do it again now. But what we're about to do now is we're going to switch over to the computer. And I'm going to... hopefully I hit the right button. I'll peek here and see that did not look like it went to the right place. So let's try that. Did that go to the right place? Now we can see my screen. Okay, cool. So right over here, we'll go to wireless, and then we'll go to HDTX, and we're going to look at that and see how it looks like. Don't need to sign up for your newsletter. Okay, so going through our settings here, I think the regular Connect has an auto mode. Is that right? Because if I go over here, I think it also has an auto mode on the transmitter. Yes, you see it has an auto mode on the BPTX. So that's something that is not on. I should almost bring up a different window here for this. Let me see if I can do that. Okay. No. All right, so here we go.
And compare a couple of things here. Body pack, BPTX body pack transmitter. Good morning from. Oh, okay. I thought Bartek. I thought you were somebody that I knew in person. Good morning from Poland. Good morning. So we have Sweden and Poland in the house. Great. Thanks for joining. Audio boost frequencies from 7 up to 20K, which is what we demonstrated there a second ago, and we compensated for the wind protection that came with it. There we go. A lot of these things look like standard. 10-hour battery at 100 milliwatts. That's an improvement, I think. What was it that I tested in my video? What was it? Something about the same. A lot of the frequencies, or not the frequencies, a lot of the things look about the same. I love the fact that it's 48K 24-bit. Both XLR input and the 3.5 millimeter, which is 1/8 inch to us in Americas. 8 hours record time on a 8 gigabyte SD card. Well, I believe I have an SD card right here. That's a micro SD card. So is this an SD? This is 8 gig? 8 hours record time on an 8 gig. Okay. That is indeed an 8 gig. That came with something. Because I would not buy an 8 gig SanDisk Ultra anymore. I don't think I've used an 8 gig in years. Unless it's, or bought an 8 gig in years. Not that I'm against them. It's just I haven't bought any in a while. Okay. I have a lot of those things though, man. I have a lot of different things. All right, so let's see. Screen lock, auto lock. That's the first thing that I did is I changed them because it locked on me after 15 seconds. But yeah, HDTX. See, it does have phantom power when you plug something up here. Memory card size. So it can take, I love the fact that it mentioned that, 128 gigabytes. So that's really cool. So if it's 8 hours with an 8 gigabyte, you can obviously say that it should be 128 hours with a 128 gig. I don't know why in the world you'd ever want that. Card format, FAT32 or exFAT. That's interesting. I wonder if it gives you the option to format it in different formats. 2 gigabytes automatically keep recording and creates a new file. So it automatically will keep recording and keep it going. Uncompressed pulse code modulation PCM WAV file. Okay. Testing gave 10 plus hours of runtime when transmitting at 50 milliwatts. What was really interesting on my Connect video test, when I tested it, I found that the lower power options actually, it recorded longer on the higher power options. It was really a really weird thing because I did the test twice. So I've been in it for a while. I'll check the full video later. All right, and then I definitely will leave this public for a while until my video drops, until my review of this drops, and I probably will start with the lavs, so that way you can see the way those sound. Okay, so onboard file management. So I'll have to go through those settings and verify it. Some of the things that would be more interesting is how it deals with transients, how it deals with the very loud noises. I was talking to Nick about this. If you yell really loud in, it does limit it and catches it just fine. But sometimes it will almost seem to like pull back some of the frequencies of your voice a little bit harsher. And I'll have to do a couple of comparisons. Like if I talk normal at a normal volume and then I yell into it, what is it actually doing? Okay, input gain range -12 dB to +36. Yeah, this is pretty awesome. AD converter maximum range 92 dB. Okay. One hour, 1 gigabyte. Okay. So I'm so hard trying to fight back a yawn. Okay, we have reached ZipFizz time. If you're wondering what a ZipFizz is, in America, we have various different things that like they have the 5-hour energy and stuff, but that's a lot of like chemicals and stuff. I like ZipFizz. ZipFizz is like, listen to this. It's a botanical antioxidant, as they call it.
I always tell people, it doesn't have chemicals in it to keep you awake. It's like caffeine from seeds extracts and stuff. What is this? Anhydrous and guarana seed extract, green tea leaf extract, alpha lipoic acid, green coffee bean extract, grape seed extract, grape skin extract. So, I mean, I can't really read what the thing says very well, not because it's so small, but also because my contact lenses are going a little bit dry right now. All right, we're breaking this thing open. Chat has now gone quiet. Does it have... Oh, well, let's not look at this one. What we'll do is we'll look at wireless Deity Connect, and then, oh, actually, that's already over there. So let's go over here, and we'll look at... Go away. We will look at the W.Lav in comparison to the Connect Lav. Does it have charts? Deity chart. So it just shows the omnidirectional. Doesn't tell us for the Connect Lav. I wonder if that's the overall system. At last, an affordable micro. Okay, so this answers our questions here. The DA35 is the 3.5 millimeter. DA4 is for a. Okay, so I was wrong. I was wrong here. I'm saying it now. DA4 is a 4-pin TA4, and a DA5 is a 5-pin TA5. So the DA4, a DA5 is electrosonics M, UM, LM, SM, PDR. So that's the TA5 is basically a DA5. A TA4 is basically a DA4, and that's for the Shure and the Exient system. And then the DA3 is the 3.5 millimeter. So this makes perfect sense here if I bother to think about it. Yeah, DA4 is obviously the 4-pin XLR. 3.5 is 3.5 millimeter. There you go. And it talks about the layout of the wireless. So that's actually cool. I'm glad I came to the website because I'm sure that if Andrew at Deity watches this later, he's going to be saying, no, you should have gone to the website first. Well, the package arrived. I got home from work. I was extremely excited. I wanted to go ahead and listen and start to play around with it. What is the WAD12? Is that are these old? These are their older adapters, aren't they? WAD12. All right, a little bit of boost here. Enrique, glad you're still here. Gotta love that Zip Fizz. Sure, Paul. Glad to stream. Glad to be here tonight. And yes, I do know that Zip Fizz is kind of like an emergency or other things. You're supposed to add the powder to a water bottle, but I don't do that. I like to go straight with it. It's a really good flavor. It's strong, but I like strong flavors. Sorry. Jeez. Is the battery removable? Just like on the body pack transmitter, it is not. At least there's no way that I've seen on it. No. It is not user replaceable at all. I've already tested the BPTX for damage. Like I put it on my ankle and then I dropped it and kicked it and then tossed it around. This, I'm not going to do that to. The HDTX, 2 reasons. Number 1 is you typically do not drop a microphone. I know it has been part of the whole mic drop meme thing that goes around now. Thanks, Obama, for dropping a microphone. Me and many others, some people are like, don't drop the microphone. But now it seems to be a drop the mic kind of thing. It's funny, but not to sound people. But normally, if this is connected up to a microphone, you don't drop it. Now, feel free to drop an SM, 58, something like that. Like I think that's what did he drop? what I mean, if I watch the video of Obama dropping the microphone, he'll show me. But an SM58, you're probably not going to damage that way. It's a dynamic and it's pretty rugged and resilient, and it was also plugged up, so it did not have a transmitter on there. If it has a transmitter on there, chances are you don't want to drop it. Usually, I'm a big advocate for testing anything and everything that is put into the hands of someone that is not sound department. So, like, for example, if I were reviewing a slate, I would say, okay, if I put this in the hands of a camera person, what are they going to do? They're going to open it up and throw it over their shoulder so the numbers stay on. They're going to be probably dropping it. They're going to accidentally put it on the ground and kick it over. They're going to jam it between things. So you're going to have some compression tests. That's the kind of thing that camera people do with slates when you give them to them. Same thing with sync boxes. They will throw it in a bag. They'll put something on top of it. They will put it on the camera. It may fall off. If you know, the cable will get jammed, you'll hit the connectors at weird angles and you know, see if there's any play in that if it jams. And just like with the review that dropped this morning of the Bumblebee Sidekick, I grabbed that cable and I yanked the crap out of it, and it did not tear. The cable did not tear and get destroyed. It was very resilient. I'm thinking about taking the cable with me to work and having a very like the strongest grip that I can find, and say, try to tear this cable and record it and then upload it as a fun little bonus, just to see what happens, because I think it'd be kind of funny. But I mean, tell me if you think it would be worth, you know, investigating. I tried tearing it, and I mean, again, I'm not, like I said in the video, I'm not that weak of a guy. I mean, I could wrap it around and try to tear it, and it just did not tear. That's what Behringer Dynamics are for. Behringer Dynamics are for Obama to drop. Copy you. It's a good thing to keep in mind. I will definitely keep that in mind if anyone ever says, what do I refer to someone if they're going to be dropping a mic? Honestly, I would say go for the very cheapest thing. Go to Amazon, do a search for dynamic microphone, hit sort by price, and see what comes up. I mean, that's terrible, but that's honestly what you could do. But to answer your question, no, the batteries are not user replaceable. But I'll tell you this, that it does feel solid. There's a little piece of plastic over the OLED display right here that if you press it a little bit, it does give a little bit. The buttons feel really solid to the touch. Good sound to them. I mean, it feels very, very strong. Now, this is just an outer screen. The actual OLED display is behind it. I mean, you can see it from this angle, which I might have to just take a B-roll shot of, because if I press in on this, that plastic there is protecting me from actually hitting the OLED display. I mean, I could press it hard enough to hit it. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to do it, like press it really, really hard, but like I'm pressing on it hard enough and it's not touching this display. If I keep on doing it, it's probably going to break. If I really like want to destroy it. But believe it or not, I don't like get thrills out of destroying sound gear. It's only the stuff that goes into someone's hands, like the Sidekick. The Sidekick, you would give talent, and talent could twist it, yank it. I mean, if they don't do proper cable management, tuck it in someplace, and it's connected up to their back, they could easily catch that on something, on a door when they walk through or something. And that's the reason why I feel it's very important to stress test anything that goes into the hand. Halter Technical was on here earlier tonight. Doc was, and when I tested the scene monitors, originally I stress tested it, and I had that in the review, and I thought about it, and I said, you know what, I'm kind of mixed about, do I really want to do that as part of the regular review or not? The reason I was curious about it is because it's a $15 pair of headphones. It's not designed to be rugged. If a $15 pair of headphones gets broken, typically you'll throw it out and get another pair, especially if it's a sound mixer doing that. So I was kind of torn about it. I felt that people should see it, so I think I made a separate little video about it and stuck it on the end, that if you watch my Halter Technical review, then it says, like, you can only get to it through that review. So you have to watch it at the end, and then it's the video at the very, very end. Charts.
for the, well, that's not helpful. So basically tells me that a W.Lav is omnidirectional. And it's basically a black circle that is not, if you notice, it's a little bit more front, a little bit less on the side, and then it comes around a little bit. It's a little bit wider. So it has a better pickup there at the front, drops in ever so slightly there. And so it's not a perfect circle. If you just looked at that darker circle, you see how it's right there. It's about a third down. And by the time you get here, it's right in the middle. Go here on the side, and it's about a little bit over a third, maybe a quarter, about a third, I guess. Then it drops down, and it's about a third away from this side of the circle. So it's not a perfect omnidirectional pattern, but it is pretty close. So wireless, let's go to the Pro and look at the D3 Pro. I wish it had the frequency response here, just so we can at least look at it. Okay, great. Polar pattern, circle again. And wireless micro. Are you going to show me a frequency response, or are you just going to show me a circle? Woohoo! So, what's in the box? Third-party accessories. Oh, it talks about the URSAs and HIDA mics. Okay, support specs. Yeah, okay. Well, cool. Shows the sensitivity is -38 plus or minus 2. How does that compare? That's for the micro. How does that compare to the Pro? I know the Pro is waterproof. It's a slightly wider diameter. It's still small. And it's IPX57, so it is waterproof. Right. What was I looking at before? Sensitivity. Does not have the sensitivity listed here. Do you have the sensitivity listed for the W.Lav? Charts. What's in the box? Support specs. That's what it was. Sensitivity -40. So it's a less sensitive microphone than the micro is, but we do not know about the Pro. Okay. Check it out. Have to look it up. Wonder if Andrew will put it up on the Deity website. When I pester him and say there's no frequency response up there. There's no sensitivity for the Pro. There's almost no specs here for the W.Lav. I think the W.Lav's been out a while. I remember it snuck out. Because I remember somebody asked me, the W.Lav, could I compare it to the W.Lav? I was like, it's not out yet. And then someone says, oh, yeah, it is. It's selling at B&H. It's selling. I was like, wait a minute, what? And so I sent Andrew a message. I said, hey, now, wait a minute. Why didn't you tell me the W.Lav was out? We just snuck it out there. We just kind of just released it. It's like, okay. So I did request that for this video, or rather the review I'm going to do of the different lavs of Deity, I did request that they send me one of everything. I already have a V.Lav. I'm not going to put that in the same video that I will be putting the Connect Lav, the W.Lav, the W.Lav Pro, and the W.Lav Micro. I'm going to be testing and comparing. Jeez, all four of those together. You can tell I'm getting tired here. I've been up now for going on very close to 24 hours now. But then I had an earlier call time yesterday. So I was up, early in the morning. I went to work. Not a full 12-hour day or a 13 like there's normally on this show. It's more like about a 10-hour day. So it's a much shorter day. And then I came home and I was with my wife and we watched some TV together and then we talked a little bit and then she went to bed and about 10 or so minutes after midnight, I started streaming. Or maybe it was 1 a.m. I don't remember what time it was. But there we go. Okay, so those are what is the Deity education videos? It's probably a relation to the channel. Yeah, there it goes. And you see, I'm one of his referred right there. He says, check me out. Okay. All right, well, there you go. There we've looked through some stuff and talked about all these things, and we've gone through all of their wonderful site. Not the whole thing, of course. S-Mic 2, S-Mic 2S.
It's really funny because their original S mic was the Aperture Deity microphone. I talked about that in my review. But then we had the 2 and then we had the 2S because the 2S is just a shorter version of the 2. Makes me wonder if they're going to start a whole line of, see, they have the D3. So it makes me wonder if their next microphone is going to be an S mic 3, because S is sound. S microphone, sound mic 2. S sound mic too small or too short. And then what is the D? Video mic D. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to ask Andrew. All right. My brain is wavering here. I am starting to run out of brain power here. It's time for me to get up and wander around or get some blood flowing, do something, listen to something, and organize. Geez, this room is in chaos. So if you don't have any questions or anything, I will say thank you very much for attending and showing up here tonight for the stream. If you're watching this later, this video will be up until I have reviewed both the Deity Connect with the HDTX and the Deity Connect Lavalier. I gotta think about that one. Do I want to? I'll probably do the entire location kit by itself, and then I'll do the different lavs comparing them. Hey, Andrew's back. Deity Gen 3. There you go. Thank you. I have been asking questions and you disappeared. I guess you have lice. Lice. You have a life. That's how rumors start. All it takes is me being up until 4 a.m. and rumors are going to start. You have lice, don't you, Andrew? Sorry about that. Tired. Okay, so Deity, so the V.Lav or the V mic D3 is a Deity Gen 3. That's what that is. And the Deity V mic, video mic Gen 3. So I guess Deity Gen 3. So the prices, he will tell you the prices, hopefully, if he's still paying attention and he hasn't wandered off to answer 5,000 questions from people probably on his YouTube channel, asking him questions about stuff. And just like your question, he has answers. Where to buy, it will have a whole bunch of list of vendors. But yeah, it's been fun testing these things out. I would so want to ask Andrew some stuff right now. But I'm going to ask him more privately, more candid, because, yep, Aperture D1 and then D2. So, so that's a good question then. I'm assuming that, see, I talked about the Aperture Deity was the D1, the S mic, basically the equivalent of the S mic 1. So the S mic 2, and then you have the 2S. Does that mean that the next microphone, because I'm sure Deity is going to have another microphone at some point in the future, is that going to be a S mic 3 or is that going to be an S mic 4 because you already have the D3? That's a big question I would have. So you have $99 for the W.Lav. You have $149 for the W.Lav Pro. You have $199 for the Micro, and that's with a DA35. That is, to remind you, I'll go over to the adapters so that way you can see what they are. The adapters are as follows. I think they used to have an accessories thing up here. Here, I'll just bring up what I'm looking at here. It used to have, let's see, why is it not going there? I could have sworn that I was switching it over to the computer by doing that. I thought it used to have an accessories thing there, though. The adapters are the DA5 is like a TA5 adapter. A DA4 is a 4-pin, so it's like a TA4. DA3 is a 3.5 millimeter. So that's the difference. And it shows you compatibility right down here. The big question we had earlier, Andrew, and maybe you can answer this, is they were asking if there's going to be a microdot to a LEMO. so that way they could use it with Zascom, WYSICOM, that kind of thing. Is that going to be something that you offer, an adapter for that? I would love to get an answer for that. If you don't mind, if you wouldn't mind. There you go. Hey, he just asked it. Will you be bringing out a Limo 3-pin microdot? So that was a question that we had a few hours ago, a couple hours ago, and that's a good question. We'll see. Yes. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Oh, here's a question I have for you, Andrew. The specs listed for the W.Lav, professional lavalier, it has only 5 specifications listed here. There is no frequency response. That was it. UWP. It's not UMP. It's WP. There is only specs. If you go to chart, it only has an omnidirectional polar pattern chart. If you go over here to the W.Lav Pro, same exact thing, man. Specs are very limited here. It doesn't even have a sensitivity for this one, though. And for charts, there is no frequency response. It's just a polar pattern. And then when you go over here to the W.Lav Pro, it's the same thing. It's an omnidirectional polar pattern, also no frequency response, but you do show the sensitivity here. So I was curious as to if you're going to have a frequency response listed of each of these microphones up there as a specification, and if there are more specs in this kind of format that we could see for the W.Lav. Are those in the plans to put on the website? I know these are not even released yet. I think the W.Lav is, if memory serves. But are these things that are going to be listed up here at some point? We had fun listening to all the different microphones, Andrew. We only used the HDTX because anyone that's watched my video on the Deity Connect knows how the BPTX sounds. But I noticed something that I'm going to ask you about since you're here. I almost should let you do the other one first. When I go into the firmware over here, it says firmware. Oh, this is firmware 1.0 on the Deity on the Deity Duo RX. That's what it was. It has a firmware of 1.34. Well, on your website, it has only an update to 1.33. Does that mean there is a soon-to-be-released firmware 1.34? Because if so, I'm wondering what the changelog looks like. Because that's going to be a wonderful, happy little thing that I would be very, very, very excited to check out. One thing I'm going to be doing right here, real quick. It's coming! Yay! That's a very exciting thing. I'm excited to see what the changelog looks like. Is that something that you are capable of posting right now, or is that like look, the Duo RX is not released just yet. You're not supposed to be leaking all this information like the 1.34 is coming. I would love to know the changelog if that's something you can say in the live stream here and give everyone the scoop. That would be totally awesome. But if not, I certainly understand, as would the rest of the world here. And I'm about to test no card. Brilliant. That's because there's not a card in there. And I'm going to go ahead and add this one. And I'm going to see. Actually, let me see real quick first if there's anything on here before I just go ahead and format it. There shouldn't be. Multi-card readers to the win, for the win. Nothing on there. Awesome. So I'll go ahead and format this, and I will test this on this the HDTX. What am I saying? BPTX. There is a video that I sent Andrew when I was out testing the Connect. My 3-year-old loved playing with them. She loves playing with microphones. She just loves talking into them and stuff. And it's really funny. She has a lot of fun just, being completely bad and blowing into them. I'm like, don't blow into the microphone. And she just laughs like crazy, thinks it's the funniest thing in the world. Mic level. I'm going to raise this up to plus 24. And let's hear, how's my level? It's muted. So I guess anytime you don't have a microphone connected, it mutes it by default. So that way it does not damage anything. So let's see. VU meter is not working on there. What if... Let's go over here. It includes new VU meter on the gain screen and a new lock screen. Okay, cool. So I see power is on, not muted. It doesn't have pair on, but I'm hoping to just use this as a recorder right now, but I don't see my levels. So I'm going to say mute is off now. So Andrew, if tap the power button, your mute hotkey is still enabled. Wait a minute, what? Tap the power. Now it's muted. Okay. So now it's no longer muted. Or is it now it's muted, now it's not. So it's green on top right there. And it is not, I don't have the Duo RX turned on right now. So input type TRS. Oh, that's probably it right there. Look at that. XLR with 48 volt phantom power on. Helps if I'm not a complete moron here, if I know what I'm doing. Okay, great. Now let me hit record. I'm going to hit record again, and it's recording now. Okay, so now I'm recorded. Yeah, I figured it out a tad bit before you were able to tell me. Because this stream runs, I think, about a 20-second delay is what they tested it out as earlier. But anyway, so I'm recording now. And I already explained the reason why you cannot record at the same time as transmit is because of Zaxcom's patents. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in other countries that are not the United States, the HDTX does have the ability to record at the same time as transmit. Please correct me if that is incorrect. Because I think I remember you telling me that was something that you were not going to violate any patents because you respect them, but that if you were in another country, those patents did not apply. And if it did not apply in that country, then you would have the ability to record and transmit at the same time. But Deity is not going to violate any patents at all in America, so that it's not an option to transmit and record at the same time. So we're recording, and let me go back to my main screen here. Alrighty, it's not going to the main screen, so I cannot. Here's a question I have then. If going back menu, okay, well, let's go back. I cannot get to my main screen. So I can't see my VU meters here. I cannot see my VU meter here, so I don't know if what my level's doing. Transmit functionality, transmit and record functionality in the EU. Yeah, that's what I thought I remembered. Okay. But it said internationally sold models will transmit and record at the same time. Units sold in the USA will transmit or record. Yes. So that's because of the Zaxcom patents. I know you and I have had that conversation before, and I've heard you talk to other people. Deity respects patents. So people have asked. Not going to go there, man. Not going to go there. You respect, respect patents if you're going to stay in business, and definitely got to do it. But that would be the question I have right now is there a way for me to get to my VU meters? Right here. I'm recording right now on the HDTX. Am I going to have to stop recording if I need to boost this up just a little bit? Or would this be something I would have to have there's a question for you. Okay, pulling out the Duo RX. So I'm going to see now if I can change the input gain on the Duo RX. So do I have to I'm not able to record, I know, at the same time as transmit, but can I use, okay, it says it's offline right now. It says it's offline because I'm recording. So if I hit stop, and now transmitter comes on. Okay. New firmware will add VU meters to the record screen. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That is awesome. Okay, so record right now, and then I'm going to watch the transmission drop away and disappear. So as soon as I hit record, recording, and it's offline. So I no longer have the ability to access the transmitter at all. Fair enough. That, I'm sure the reason why that is in America is because of the Zaxcom patents. And that is entirely fair. Okay. That answers that question. So I'm assuming then if you have the EU version, that's a question for the EU people. There's people from Poland in here. There's somebody from Sweden. So that would be a question I'd have for you then, Andrew. If you were in the EU or another country where it's legal to transmit and record at the same time on a unit like the HDTX, is that something that you would be able to do? Is get back to your main menu screen while you're recording? Like right now, it seems to be kind of in this screen and locked. But if I hit menu, it doesn't. It takes me to that screen. Okay. But it would not take me to the main menu screen if I hit back. It takes me to the record screen. So if I were in the EU and had an EU version of the Deity Connect system or the HDTX Connect system, and Denmark, Denmark's here also in the house. So if you hit the menu button, can you get back to the main screen, which would be the equivalent of if I hit stop here and then I hit back. This screen right here, would it just show like a record button? See, now it's muted. So would it show that you were recording with some sort of a visual indicator here at the same time as transmission in the EU version or the international version? Because I'd be very curious to see that. I like that it has lit up XLR or TRS at the bottom so you can see what that is. That's cool. I like the ID that you can add on that. If I connect up the other transmitter at the same time, this is still only controlling one because the BPTX would only have this OLED display also, but the Duo RX would have both of them listed up on the same screen. In the EU, you'd reference the Duo RX in your audio bag because the HDTX would be recording. So and far away like that, you'd be in the pole. Okay, so that makes sense. You would use the because in the EU version, the Duo RX would not go offline when you hit record. It would, in the EU version, it would stay recording, and you could, I guess, adjust the gain and all the settings you normally would do with the transmitter. You could adjust all of those from the receiver. So that makes total sense. You just would not be able to adjust your transmission stuff from this. You are a puppet, and the only comment is by the brand. This is only advertisement. I'm done here. I'm a puppet for wanting to test out a piece of tech. Okay. You are free to have your opinion, man. But me personally, I'm a geek. I like sound stuff. So you can call me a puppet, you can call me whatever you want. That's perfectly fine. But the way I look at it is I'm a sound geek. I received a package in the mail today, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be testing this stuff out anyway. Let me do it on a live stream and see if there's anybody that has any questions or wants to hear some tests live. I haven't done a review or anything just yet, but you can look at my reviews. I've done 28 of them so far. I'm not going to show favorites. I am very brutally honest about stuff. In the review that just dropped this morning, the cable was made of Kevlar. So, and there's a video that the manufacturer has of him grabbing it and trying to break it. And I was like, you know what? You're going to do that? I'll do the same thing. When I tested out the S Mic 2, I took that thing and they said the motherboard is it is a DC bias microphone, but it is a epoxy seal microphone. It should be completely waterproof, and it's rugged enough to be able to withstand damage. I said, really? Okay. Well, if that's the case, I'm going to take that thing, and I took that thing into the shower. I drenched that microphone. Then I put it in distilled water, and then I put it in the tumble dryer, and I tumble dried that thing until it was completely dry, and it still worked. So we're just talking about Deity products and the Sidekick this morning. Those are just two things right now. There's a review I have where I agreed way back in the day. I felt it was kind of a rite of passage to when I hit a certain number of subscribers. I felt it was very important to kind of to start getting into reviews. I wasn't doing a whole lot of them. And I had a company, Tonar, who makes, inexpensive microphones. They reached out to me and asked if I'd be willing to test a couple. I said, sure. I agreed to do two as kind of I was talking to Bandrew over at a podcast who said kind of as a rite of passage. Like if I do it, maybe I'll transition, start kind of figuring out the methods I wanted to use for reviews and stuff. But over the course of time, I've kind of fallen into the thing of if I'm testing something, I've always kind of had the opinion, but now I'm very much more of a do not care what the manufacturer has to say or the input they have to say. I've always had the disclaimer that I will do what I want. You have to agree to those terms in order for me to review something. You can't have any input in it because I don't want to go there. I will ask information. I will ask questions to help me prepare for a review, but I'm not going to take opinions. When people say, these are some of the key words that you could use, I'm like, nope, I'm not going to use any of those. And if I find myself reviewing any of those, and I've had manufacturers send me some phrases that they say, people have said this. I'm like, oh, well, you're not going to hear me saying those things because I'm not going to give you those words as a soundbite. You can say, people have said this, but you're wanting me to say those words. I'm not about to do that. But you keep the product as payment. Yeah, so? Do you think I need more gear? I'm a professional in the film industry. I have a lot of high-end gear. Do you think I need any more? If I turned the camera around into this room, you would see gear all over this room. I don't need more gear. If I do a review of something, what they are doing is they're sending it to me to review so that they could get my opinion on that. I'm not necessarily kind to something. I give constructive feedback, and I give my opinion of it to the audience. Some of the gear, the Synco Mic D2 was not as good recently when I reviewed it as people are saying it is online. Some people online have said it matches the 416. I didn't find that to be the case at all. I found that the specs were different. They were noisier. I found that it was actually more nasally on me. I found that it was not a match for the 416, and I say that in the review. And they sent it to me for free. I mean, that's... Henning Pauly has 400 products just because YouTube demonstrations. Okay. I mean, what do you... I mean, I don't understand your point. Here's what I'm going to point out to you. If I got and did a review of a product and I completely trashed it, which I did do. I mentioned the Tonar microphone thing. I tested one of their videos. I tested one of their microphones they sent to me, and I said, you know what? For a $40 microphone, it does have a lot of features in there. And I did point out a couple of things in that video that I said were not accurate. And I said, it's legal now. It's not going to be legal after July 13, 2020, later this year. And the reason why is because of the frequency range. So I said, it will be illegal to operate at that time. At the end of that video, that review, I said, if you're going to spend $40 on that microphone, you're going to get a good value out of it. That for the money, it's a pretty good deal. I said, is it the best out there? No, there are better things. But that is something. And then they said to me, and since I had agreed up front to do 2 product reviews for them, they sent me another product, and I said, no, this isn't what you promised me, because they said they would send me another microphone, like a large diaphragm, because the first one they sent me was a wireless. I said, you said you'd send me a large diaphragm, or a shotgun or something along those lines, because that's what I told them I wanted. And they sent me instead a headset mic, and I said, you do not want me to review this. And they said, yeah, we do. And I said, no, you don't. I said, I will not be kind to this thing at all. When they came back to me and said, we don't have any reviews of this online, we would like you to do it, I said, fine. And I did a video that you can watch. It's called Avoid This Headset, and then the name of that microphone, that headset after it. And I trash it very harshly. And the company still reached out and asked afterwards if I would do more reviews. And, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, I'll trash something if it's bad. But a lot of the time, I'm seeing a lot of emails from people asking me if I'll review their products. And I have no interest in reviewing a lot of things, because I don't need to fill up this studio with more stuff. Now, if I do decide to review something, it's because there's some sort of interest there. I really like the natural sound of the Deity microphones. I was not happy, and one of the reasons why when I first started out, I did not reach out to Aperture Deity and ask them to send me an Aperture Deity, is because I had no interest in the world in that microphone. I did not like the design of it. I did not like the sound of it. It was noisier. It was not the same thing as the S-Mic 2. And when I heard the S-Mic 2, I said, you know what? That's a much better sounding microphone. And I was actually doing a review of the DPA 6060, I think. And I posted about that online, said, oh, this is coming soon. And I said, you know, new product being released. You're gonna want to check this out. I've been listening to it. Andrew was announcing a product the same day over at Deity, and he said, wait a minute, how do you know? And I said, I'm talking about DPA. And he said, oh, I'm at Deity. And I said, oh, well, if you have anything you want to send me to review, I'll check that out too. And that's how we started talking. But Andrew over at Deity heard that same spiel where I said, you know, I will not be influenced. Basically, you have no input in the review. If you send it to me, it's at my discretion to say what I want. And he's like, sure, that's fine. And most manufacturers are that way. I need activated carbon. Inventor, are you telling me anything I don't know already? I'll just address this last thing. Good mics are to be spoken near closer. Yeah, okay, so why aren't you gonna gripe about specifications? And vocal booth is not low frequency proof? You think I don't know that? Have I ever said this is a vocal booth? Do a search for Sound Speeds Takeover online. You'll find a Michael Wynn video where he comes behind the scenes, and you'll see that this is a set piece. If you watch my video about the history of sound speeds, you will see the reason why I have this set right now. The reason why is because having my room, my studio in the background, where it's not a nice set piece, looked like complete garbage. And you're never going to believe that I'm a pro in the sound industry unless I look like I'm on some sort of an environment that at least looks like it plays the part. However, I will say this. Are you familiar with insole quilts? They are what line studios across the entire world. Pinewood, Warner Brothers Studios, Paramount. Every single studio in the entire world uses insole quilts on the walls of their studio. I have ordered those. They are being made for me, and I'm going to be replacing what you see with insole quilts. Spent, $600 to get only about 4 feet. No, what is this? 3 feet, 3 feet, 9 feet of insole quilt back here. And then, just like what you see in sound stages, you will see hardware. What is it called? Hardware, not hardware mesh. Hardware cloth is what they call it. I bought the hardware cloth. So that way, behind me, since I'm a film guy, I should have a film look. So I'm going to be changing this out because originally when I started the channel, I didn't know if I was going to be doing it. I agreed to do 100 episodes and to do one every 3 days. I did that, and then afterwards I kept on going. So there you go. Okay. Okay. Well, he did retract. In fairness, he did retract that quote. So Henning Pauly also gives honest opinions. Cool. Awesome. Ian Craig, I am here because I have a 4:30 p.m. call time. And we're doing hard nights right now. I'm going to be doing them for the next 2 weeks. So since I had an early morning call, I had a early call time today, well, yesterday now. I just got up, went to work, and when we finished, we actually wrapped early. It wasn't a 12 or 13 hour day like normal. It was actually 10. So when I left, I came home, actually watched a couple of shows with my wife, took a shower, goofed off, then said, you know what? I'm going to open this box, and I found it full of new sound stuff. And I said, you know what? I thought about taking it out and recording samples and stuff, but then I decided, you know what? Let's just do that live on the air. I thought that'd be kind of fun. So we did, and we've now gone through it all. All right. But anyway, it is going to hit. Your reviews are really helpful. Thank you for putting such hard work into your channel. Glad to. It's a very challenging thing to do, but it is fun. It keeps me occupied, I guess you could say. Keeps me out of trouble. That's a better way to put it. Hope you have a good Christmas too. I did. Why did it suddenly release when it didn't before? Don't know. Yeah, I'm very much a crazy guy about sound. On the weekends, I teach classes. On this upcoming Sunday, I have a class on being a sound utility. I'll be teaching that. It's a union class, so you can only see it. You can only go to it if you're a union member. Had somebody else in this stream earlier that said that he was from Marietta, and I was like, oh, so you're local here. And he asked if he can come. I was like, or he didn't ask. Actually, that's an overstatement. He didn't ask that. He just asked about the class, and I told him if he's a union member, he can come. If he's not, then he can't, because the union is actually paying me to teach it. So there you go. All right, you're telling me that I'm a puppet. Well, geez, who's talking about Henning Pauly a whole lot? Henning Pauly has ridiculous expensive equipment, guitar amplifiers and guitars. He is a puppet too. Of reviews on YouTube. Okay. That's fine. I will not lose one wink of sleep over being called a puppet. Trust me. Okay. 4:25 a.m. Looking for the review. Thinking supplementing cost 11Ds with some W.Lav Pros. The only way I listened to them earlier today was through the Deity Connect system. I have not hardlined them or anything, and you know how it is when you talk into a microphone yourself, you can't hear the fidelity of it nearly as well because you're hearing it around the room. You're hearing it through your headphones. You can't really get a good idea until you play it back and listen to it. When I am recording samples and then play them back, I can get a better idea and opinion of them. Plus, when I was going through the Connect system earlier, it has a 19 millisecond delay. So I'm hearing a slight echo in my ears. So doing that and hearing a slight echo in my ears makes it a little bit more difficult for me to hear the fidelity of what I'm speaking into. So I don't know how the W.Lav Pro sounds. What I will tell you is that the dimensions of it is waterproof, which a COS 11D is not. It is smaller. The form factor, like a COS 11D, I think it was about that long from the element, maybe that long if you include the cable off the end. And the W.Lav Pro was about like that. It also, on a COS 11D, it has it looks like a mini microphone. It looks like a microphone with a grill off the end. It looks small. Like if you put like if you had a hand microphone that was being handed back and forth and like a GI Joe character, with like an interviewer. If you had an interviewer with a COS 11D, it could kind of look like a microphone on a street type thing. That's kind of fun. But yeah, it kind of looks it's smaller, like a shorter version of that, 4 millimeters in thickness. You do see a difference in that between and I will, in my review, I will show the difference between the size of a COS 11D and all the different, and I'll compare it side by side with some other lavs. You'll see the side by side comparison between them. Oh, it's water resistant, yes. I mean, it can take water hitting it. Like if you put it underneath clothing and you get your shirt drenched, it's not going to damage it. But when I was talking about a DPA 6060, for example, you take that one. When you are on Broadway, people, the performers on stage that use them, they'll put them in their hair. They'll sometimes have two transmitters, one for a regular speaking volume, one for singing. So that way it's basically like a mix minus level, where it's a lower level, and you can like a 10 decibel or 20 decibel lower, and then they can play that in without clipping the microphone if they're a very loud singer. Well, if they put the lav right here in the hair, it's gonna sweat. It's gonna catch a lot of sweat right there. So at the end of the night, a lot of those DPAs that are used on Broadway, they take it, they dip it in distilled water, and then they hang it up to dry, and that's the way they clean them. They dip it in the distilled water and they swish it around, and then take it and hang it, and that's the way they'll clean it at night. Couldn't do that with a COS 11. You would mess it up. Now, it is water resistant, to your point, but I don't think it has on their website, and I'll look at right now just to double check myself, but I don't believe the COS 11D, which is very much an industry standard microphone. I'm on Senken-mic.com right now, looking at the COS 11D. It does say water resistant, but it does not have an IPX rating. So it's not an actual waterproofing. It's just water resistant. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely protective if you were to have it be rained on through an overcover or something like that. You're not going to damage it. But, there you go. All right, so there we go. It is now 4:30 a.m. almost, my time, and I'm just sitting here blabbing away. Okay, would be wary to dip any mic in water. You know what? Yeah. I mean, especially after you spend a lot of money on a lav mic, dipping it in water is something that would make you kind of nervous, but DPAs, you can do that. You can also do that with a, what is it? A Countryman EWP? Is that what it's called? I think some of theirs are like Countryman Lav. Let me see if I can actually bring that up. Hold on one second. I hope that brought up my screen. It did not. Nope, there I am. When I'll go to live right there. That's it. Okay. Oops. What am I going to? I don't need to watch this video, whatever it is. I'm hitting the wrong button. That's what it is. Countryman Lav. Where's your website? Countryman. And then they have, I haven't used it in such a long time. EMW. That's it. Those are the omnidirectional, but they are waterproof. Pretty sure they're waterproof. Excellent sound. Go from news anchors to talk show to water sports documentaries and feature film. Yeah, so they're waterproof. Nearly waterproof design. Okay, so it may be just water resistant. Well, and to your point, Ian, even if it is just water resistant, I mean, or even if it says it's waterproof, the connector isn't. So I mean, if you put just a regular EMW and you did not have the correct type of connector on the end, and you used it on something like a Electrosonics WM. That's what it is. Electrosonics WM. Watertight, right here. If you put it on that and you don't use the special type of connector on the end that seals it, then you're going to short that out. You can only use the sealed type of lav on this, on the WM. See that right there? This is how it goes in there. It has to lock in, and it has to have a special kind of connector. But if you were to connect up just a regular TRS 1/8 inch 3.5 millimeter, and you plug that in there, it would short straight out. Because even if the lav is completely waterproof, unless you sealed it, I mean, this you see the little rubber, that's a silicone O-ring right there. That's a gasket right there. You plug this in and it screws in tight. And then this this WM, I think the MM was the one before that. Let me see. The MM, was that the waterproof one before? I don't remember. Watertight, was it the WW? No, the MM is something else. There was a watertight model before the WM, if memory serves. What do we use before then? But here's the funny thing about these watertight transmitters. If you submerge yourself in water, RF goes away real quick, because RF does not like density when it travels through there. I have a video called RF Loves Space. It's only got like 250 views on it. I made it like over 2 years ago, but RF loves space because it does. That's the reason why our satellites that go deep into outer space are able to transmit back pictures from the other side of Pluto, because there is nothing stopping those radio frequencies and slowing them down and preventing them from reaching us. If they did, then it would have issues. Then we would have issues in not being able to receive those pictures. But if you try to take a little piece of Faraday material, paper thin, and your rapid transmitter that, it can't get through that because it's too dense. That's the reason why Faraday cage material works so fine. Even though I could hold the cloth up and you could see through it, in many Faraday cage material, you can't see through it because it's too dense and the radio waves can't get through there. The same exact thing is true regarding space. RF loves space. The more spread out the molecules are, the better it is. And I talk about that in that video. But yeah, you are exactly right that, you know, being in Denmark, I could always hit up the DPA guys. Love those guys. If the head, if it does not hold up. Okay, yeah, oh, I see what you're saying. I could always hit the DPA guys in the head if it does not hold up. You're right. Because you're in Denmark, Danish Professional Audio, DPA. And those microphones, I love them. I mean, DPA 4017B is my favorite microphone, hands down. I love the way that microphone sounds. It's extremely crisp, extremely detailed. I got a full sound to it. It's got great reach. It's got fantastic rejection. I just love the way that microphone sounds in every possible way. I'm still waiting to find something I like more and better. But ever since I heard that microphone back in like 2013, I think it was, I fell in love with it. Wonder how they make them waterproof and they still pick up sound. GoPros sound awful because they're waterproof. Well, here's the thing. A transmitter is not the you know, it's the same way as like a Deity microphone that you like. It's sealed there, and they just have to seal it around the capsule. The capsule can get wet, but then it can be dried off. And it's one of those things where if you watched my review of the S-Mic 2, where I took it in the shower and blabbed into it, and that right there got completely it got drenched and it turned muffled and garbled. But when it dried out, it was fine again. That's the thing, is even if a lav gets water on it, it's going to start to sound garbled. Like any of the DPA microphones, if you put a drop of water on it and it stays on there when you hold it upside down, it's still going to sound like it's going through water. It's going to sound garbled. It doesn't mean it's able to just like water hits it and it instantly blasts it away. It doesn't work that way. It just means that if you use compressed air on it and blew it off, or you just went shake, 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 it would restore itself real quickly and not damage and destroy the microphone. Some microphones, if you get them wet, might as well just turn him into a chew toy for your dog, because that thing is going to be completely garbage. Membrane, more of a an element, really. I guess it would be kind of microwave in the same way as Gore-Tex work. Kind of. It's just a different material, and it's sealed around the capsule. An inventor, again, message retracted. Obama seems to have dropped a mic with a transmitter. Was that it? Did he really have a transmitter on there? Dropped a mic with a transmitter, but it was the one he was speaking into, and he pulled it out from under the podium, so it might have been a prop. No idea what to make a common SM58 looking kind. Yeah, it could have been an SM58 if we care about that. Now you have me wonder, because I could have sworn that it was. I thought I thought the microphone that he dropped was a I thought the microphone he dropped was a hardline one. Totally confused. So let me actually, you know what? I don't need to watch that video. On the last thing in the world I need is to have some copyright thing happen, and have it recognize the sound or something like that, and instantly, oh, this video has copyright material in there, and have to deal with all that. But whatever. Okay. Well, this has been a very long video, but if you have any interest in putting it on and then and listening to the different samples of all the different mics that we have tested in this and just kind of played with this video, I have not given opinions on any of them, because it's not fair of me to do so just yet, because number one, I couldn't actually hear myself in them. I can't hear myself. I mean, I'm talking into this microphone right now. It's picking me up and I'm hearing it, but because I'm hearing it through these ears and through the microphone there, I sound totally different. Sound different on playback than you do in recording. But you know what? Blowing compressed air into a mic and then getting a little bit of water. You know what? And you're right. But some microphones you would never blow compressed air into. Some microphones you can. It all depends on the microphone. Now, I would not recommend blowing compressed air into pretty much any microphone just to be safe. But I do know a couple of microphones that I have done that to blow out air. Now, you don't just sit there and just nail the diaphragm and whatever to try to blast that. You usually catch it at a bit of an angle. You catch it at a bit of an angle, and if the diaphragm is shaped a certain way. But yeah, I mean, like a lav mic or something like that, you would blow across the top, and that's usually, it's not going to hit the element itself. If you're going to do that, the lav would be here, and you blow across it that way. You don't just come straight down there. I should have specified that, so good catch. Yeah, you see so many people blowing down them to test them. Yeah, you do. And that's and a plosive test is still a very valid test for a lot of microphones, because if you talk directly into them, you're going to nail them with plosives. And some microphones that sound really good are so sensitive to plosives that it's ridiculous. Some microphones are just not sensitive because they have internal protection against that. Does air humidity kill off mics, for instance, in Florida? Well, we have almost the same humidity here in Georgia, and I will tell you that if you take a Schoeps CMC 641 or like a CMIT 5U, and you go from inside on when it's air conditioned inside, if you go outside, it will pop just like a dew sensor does on a camera. If you go inside from a nice cool environment to outside, condensation just pops that thing right there. And I've seen that happen on both of those microphones. I have been on sets before and been using both of those two microphones, and the utility has been second booming. And then I'm fixing something on set. Yes, Schoeps suffering humidity. I've been on set, and they have to acclimate is what it is. You cannot just take it straight outside to have it drastically change temperature and have it be okay. It's got to be, they'll sound garbled. They'll sound like they're underwater. And then once the humidity dries off of them, they'll be fine again. Just like 28 or the lot said. And utilities, as soon as I've been doing something on set, talking to operators, something like that, the utility I can recall in my mind, I won't name him, but he was, when he was green, he's not anymore. He's now a sound mixer, actually, now that I think about it. But when he was green and I was on set with him, he was called out by the mixer to run outside and do something. He runs outside with the microphone, and before I knew what was happening and before the mixer knew what was happening, that Shep's microphone hit the hot air outside in the summer Georgia heat. It was like 98 degrees that day and like a 60% humidity, and that Shep's went instantly as he crossed the threshold of that door, and it was out for a good 45 minutes. We took that microphone and we just put it on out in the sun, and we just let it, try to get going, and they listened to it every now and then. He'd bring it up, and it was not a fun thing. He just left an HM on there, and it's like, great. So, you're not damaging mics for the long run there, unless they are a more inexpensive microphone that happens to get damaged by water. If it has parts in it that rust. Some old school vintage microphones are very much that way. You get water on them and they rust. A lot of the newer microphones are coated so that way it's not going to happen as much. Vintage microphones will definitely rust, and they can age very quickly in humid areas or in salty environments. Very, very salty and humid environments. That will tear down a microphone real quickly. Most modern microphones are more protected to that kind of thing, though. So they're not going to get damaged nearly as much. If you buy a vintage one, though, that might be something to worry about. Do they recover 100%? I'll put it this way. I've never run into any issues myself that they, if they do have any mineral deposits or anything on there, it would be so slight you wouldn't notice it. Or at least, like, let's just say that at 100%, if you got humidity or something like that on there, it might go back to like 99.9999 or something like that. That's just me spitballing here and assuming that's about what it is. And then the next time it'd be 99.9998. Then the same thing. And just every single time you do it, it knocks it down just a little bit. These are higher end microphones we're talking about too. They're designed so that way, even if they did trip or something like that, they should come back. And if a microphone does get permanently damaged from something like that, then I'm sure it's one of those things that you would learn real quickly that it's starting to sound a little bit differently. And it may be a microphone you have to send back to the manufacturer and ask them to clean it for you. Because you definitely wouldn't want to try to clean that yourself by taking it apart. But as for do they recover 100%, I would assume that if they don't, they get very close to it. I've heard microphones that when you abuse them, they don't come back at 100%. I did not A/B test the Deity S Mic 2 that I put in the shower, then the dryer, the clothes dryer. I did not A/B it. I should have, if I were thinking about it and doing the review that I did. If I were to do that one again, I would record myself saying something before and then record the same thing again afterwards to hear what it did to the microphone. But extreme temperatures and stuff will affect a microphone. Like my destruction of the EV664 series. When I first got that microphone, the microphone was fine, provided that the connector worked right on it. You'd have to position it just the right way to get no noise on it because that cable was in bad shape. But then I did my video how to make a cable that you can test vintage microphones with, and in that one I stripped that cable out and I basically made it into something that you could use to test microphones with. And as long as they are not phantom power microphones, they should be fine. you should be able to plug them up and, figure out the pin out or whatever, without damaging anything too much. Um, but throughout the testing of and the destruction of my EV664s, I took those, and as you saw, I grilled it on my grill for like 10 minutes. And when it was on my grill for 10 minutes, that thing heated up to like 500 degrees. As soon as I took it off there, I was letting it sit there for a bit, and it was too hot for me to touch. And so after it was off the grill for maybe 5 minutes, I said, you know what? I wonder what would happen if I took a piece of ice and stuck it on there. I did, and the thing went down in like 30 seconds. I was like, okay, I need to record this. So at that point, I took a paper towel and I cleaned up all the water from around it, and then I started recording. So it had already been off the grill for about 10 minutes and had one piece of ice on it. When I put the piece of ice on that, you saw how quickly it turned to water in that video. But then you also saw that I froze the microphone. And then I put it in the oven. And that microphone did lose fidelity, but you got to keep in mind the element on that is probably made of softer materials, because it is indeed an element. It is a condenser microphone. So the diaphragm on that is made of a more flexible material. And then I went ahead and jacked it up by heating it to hundreds of degrees when you shouldn't do that. And that will damage a microphone, because you got to keep in mind the diaphragm is stretched. It's a piece of material that is stretched across, and based on that stretch, how it is stretched across, how evenly it is stretched. If it's like stretched more horizontal this way and less tension on the top and bottom, it's going to sound different. If it is stretched too thin, it's going to sound different. Too fat and too thick, because they don't pull it enough, that's going to adjust it. Over the course of time, tension will change. If its back plate is not giving proper voltage, or it's too far away from the back plate, it's going to change how it sounds. Every little bitty thing on that condensed microphone is going to affect the way that microphone sounds. So you really need to, in order to test them properly, not abuse them. And the more things you do that are damaging to the microphone, the less chance it has of recovering 100%. The shower test had you holding your breath in horror. Well, it's funny because when I heard Deity make the claims that they were waterproof, I have been very clear about no manufacturer is going to have a say in the way I do things. But I did tell Andrew at Deity, I said, I'm going to test it. And he did tell me later, he said, he knew that it'd be fine, but he was still nervous about it. So when he saw my review, he was actually like, is it gonna withstand or not? And then, sure as the world, when it survived, he was like, it's exactly as I thought. He was just, you know how it is. I mean, if you have something that's a baby, and your baby, and then all of a sudden someone is testing you, like, are they going to say something bad? I heard a sound mixer talk about New Orleans being the worst, salty and humid. I've been to New Orleans quite a few times, and I have taken a camera with me, and the dew sensor on that camera has been tripped. And we're going from inside the Bourbon Orleans Hotel, where I've stayed at in the past. Well, I also stayed at the, what is the one? It was one of the guys that was on Titanic. One of the guys, he has a hotel also, and I stayed in that hotel also. It's very thin from the front, and you don't go from Bourbon Street, but it has an exit onto Bourbon Street. It's a very thin, very nice hotel. But then you exit off there. It was near the Crystal. I DJ'd a party there. I was the official DJ for 4 years of a convention of a New York Times bestselling author by the name of Sherilyn Kenyon. She had her KCON conference there in New Orleans for 4 years in a row, and I was her DJ for all 4 years. I would travel. I'd pack up my car full of DJ lights and speakers and everything, and I'd go down there and I'd DJ parties. And what was cool is that we had people that were sometimes coming in off the street. And at some point, I forgot who they told me. There was some celebrity that was walking down the road, and he decided to come in and walk in on the party. I found out later. I forgot who it is now, because I mean, I don't care about celebrities. I work with too many of them to really be all fan struck by them. But they, because in all honesty, they're just normal people. They just have a high profile job. That's about it. But there was somebody that came in and listened to me spin for a while and then left. I was like, oh, really? That's cool. It was like a performer too. He's like a singer. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Forgot who it was. So it's like the Tesla pickup. The window was supposed to hold. Yes. Oh, I know what you mean. The Tesla pickup truck. Yes. Yeah. But the Tesla pickup truck window didn't. Now, when they hit the side of it, that thing sounded solid. Like, it sounded like he was trying to go through like an inch piece of metal. That thing did not, bow at all. But the window, it's just like people that, you have Gorilla Glass, Corning Gorilla Glass on your phone, but then what you don't have is like, I think, what is it, emerald glass, emerald something like that. I forgot what it is, but it's like even more rugged than the Gorilla Glass. And if you have the emerald screen, then it's supposed to be like extremely rugged. There is what was it called? The Brigade. Was it an Android phone a few years ago? What is it? Caracera Brigade, I think is what it was. Extremely rugged microphone that was extremely rugged, and able to withstand a lot. And there were tests of people doing those online where they were dropping off of buildings and then freezing it, and then stuff. And it was chipping the corners just a little bit, and it was banging up the outside where it was no longer waterproof. And then they would freeze it, and then they would let it dry out, and the thing would still work. And it's like, how in the hell did you work? It's just amazing. Anyway, it is almost 5 a.m. I mean, you see me, I'm bopping around here because I'm trying really hard to stay awake. Been up for about almost 24 hours now. So I should probably go at this point and see if I can wake up, because I got to stay awake about another 3 hours before I have to go to sleep, before I go to work. Usually my routine is, if I can go off of like 3 to 5 hours of sleep, just fine if I'm working the day shift, because my body can naturally stay up that time. But if I'm working an overnight, I need to have a constant 7. So usually what I end up doing is I set my alarm for 9 hours before my call time, which would be 8 a.m. And I have to go to bed and wake up at 8 a.m. Or go to bed at 8 a.m. and then, oh, that's 4. No, I have to be 7 a.m. because my pre-call time is 4:30 call. So I need to go to bed at 7. Well, I'm glad I've worked that out right now. Otherwise, I'd be shortchanging myself on sleep just a little bit. But I have 2 more hours, and I may try to, watch some videos. May catch up on some of yours, Ian. I didn't watch the last, I think, 2 videos you've done. So I might watch some of yours. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me tonight, or this morning, whatever the case may be. I know for some of you, it's like, late morning, 10 a.m., 11 a.m. where you are right now. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. And in the comments below this video, I will leave it up there on YouTube for a little bit if you'd like to go back and see it. But I will be pulling this video down and putting it in my private playlist where I keep all of my live stream videos. And so that way it's available to Patreons of a certain level. Anyway, you take care. Thank you very much for coming, and I will see you sometime in the future.